Welcome back, everybody, to the AGE Open for the month of April. It is top 8 time. That's right. We've had 6 rounds of Swiss, and we've come up with our heaviest hitters here from the field, a classic constructed. Now, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Well, let's talk a little bit about what the purpose of the AGE Open is. Is surprising. So, for each of our AG Open, there is, of course, $400 for first place, second, $200 for second, third, fourth, fifth through eighth. You can see the breakdown there. But also, importantly, Michael, those circuit points.
Yeah, 30 for the first place winner.
Oh, I jumped off it.
That's all right, because we got Charles Dunn sitting there at 40. So anyone that takes first has a chance to overtake that first place slot. Charles Dunn got 9th in this, so he did get some points, but will be less than the people in the top 8.
Yeah, Ken, saw Zane, of course, on Prism, making something happen. Connor was on Tekla Vossen, saw Moises here. I'm not sure if he was playing. Gabriel, I saw him in a mirror match, a Drama mirror against Andrew Rudin. But here is your top 8 as it stands. No duplicate heroes in the top 8. There's a lot of exciting matchups here.
Yeah, and this seems to be a pattern that we see over and over again in this meta. No duplicate heroes seems to be just all about the players piloting the decks the best.
So there you have it. We have our top 8 matches. We're going to be jumping into a bit of a classic one here. Chris Iaali is going to be on Victor, Anthony Pham on Dash Inventor Extraordinaire. And there's a story behind this, because Chris Iaali is not a Guardian player by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, he rather loathes to play the class. But he made a bet with Anthony Pham. If Anthony could guess his favorite movie, then he would play a deck of Anthony's choice. He gave Anthony 2 hints, to be fair. Said it was made in 2005 and it was based on a book. So really narrowed it down for himself there. Also, I think if Anthony got it wrong, then Chris could pick for him. So pretty high stakes stuff. But Anthony loves to gamble. He's a gambling man. And he ended up coming out on top. He guessed Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was correct. And then what he did was he took 3 different decks. I think it was Dash, Levia, and Victor, and put them in a duck race. If you don't know what a duck race is, it's just it's a little applet that basically lets you just have 3 ducks that race each other, and he put the names Victor, Levia, Dash, and basically the whole time Victor is like lagging behind. And Chris is like, okay, we're chilling, play Levia, play some Dash, and then in the last stretch, the little duck that could, Victor, came through to take first place. Chris Iaali in absolute shambles, didn't want to play the deck. I've seen him all of today. He's in agony, Michael, agony.
He is not happy to be in the top 8. And against the person who made the bet with him in the first place, this will be an interesting match.
He's got no choice. Let's head down to the feature match area here in just a moment. Anthony Pham.
Oh, and they're already talking about it. Look at those faces.
Mr. Come to Locals himself. With a second place in Battle Hard of Los Angeles. Always a competitor. A frequent day tour of large Flesh and Blood events. Going up against, I think, our 2022 world runner-up, Chris Iaali, who was on Briar at the time, up against Michael Hamilton's famous Icelander. Now, in this matchup, talk to me about it here, because we already see that induction chamber.
Yeah, so in this matchup, Anthony Pham is going to try to take it to the late game and build up a board, get that pistol into ultimate mode, swinging in for 4, maybe even 5, go again over and over and over. And Chris Iaali showing up with the Anothos. I was actually expecting a different card there. I was thinking maybe he'd bring the Rampart of the Ram's Head, but this says he wants to push damage and kill Anthony before he can get there.
Yeah, Rampart of the Ram's Head doesn't appear in every Victor list. It doesn't appear in this one specifically. No Rampart registered. But of course, Dash is breaking the chain when she uses that induction chamber in between pistol attacks, which means at Rampart, you obviously pay to add 1 block, power. You throw it in. Eventually, it's blocking for 2 each sort of time, and very efficiently so. So I guess that's something that the Dash is trying to avoid walking into, but Chris didn't register a list with that card. He might not have the tech to handle Dash.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the sort of crowd is split on what's better in this matchup. I know that you definitely want to try to end the game quickly. And so I think one line of thinking is even if you get that Rampart value, it's not enough to close. And so, I think a lot of the top Guardian players might just bring the Anothos. Chris obviously being one of those top Guardian players.
Absolutely. Oh, buddy, that's not good. Spark of Genius, turn 0, going to get a Plasma Purifier. And a chuckle there from Chris Iaali is already the first verses of writing going up on the wall. This is the dream start for the Dash, who wants to get that Exodia of items to power up the pistol.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking Exodia. We just put the arm down. We started with the chest. We just need a couple more pieces, and Anthony Pham will be off to the race.
We need Weevil Underwood to throw him off the boat. That's what we need. Stop this man before he gets out of control. Sheesh.
And here's the aggression, though, that we were talking about. Great card to be playing. Once again, throwing back 7, go again. This is exactly what Chris needs to try to push the damage.
It's a tasty hand to draw up just quietly.
Yep. He gets to Arsenal one of those cards, probably the Golden Sun.
What do we swing Anothos? Put the Golden Sun in Arsenal. Chris obviously is hoping to find Anthony with, items in his hand at times. But, Victor obviously doesn't represent the same density of disruptive on-hits that Bravo can. So even if he does catch Anthony without an item, Anthony will just not block.
Yep. So Anthony just giving the whole hand, preserving his life total, and asking Chris to do it again. Show me you can push damage every single turn, Mr. Guardian.
Now, Victor can struggle with closing games. It's not always a strength of his. And the Golden Sun in Arsenal for Chris really needs a gold token in play to get you have to have that overpower. You cannot just send a vanilla 7 here. That's just not going to cut the mustard. That's why that Trounce pair in hand is so important. We're pitching one of them away here. Anthony, your homie's pitching a Trounce. Either he thinks Chris is not expecting anything. Oh, that is 2 Trounces in hand. He's
getting 4-card 7.
Why are we deploying this now? Yeah, I guess Chris is just saying, is he not going to give me an attack to Trounce block?
Well, I think the point is that those cards are basically dead. If you draw them up on a turn where you have to play a 5-card hand, you can't play them.
But they're pitch stacked together.
I think it's the best he can do.
Ooh,
It's either put the Trounce in Arsenal, which is not a good idea, or put the Command and Conquer. So he was forced into that. He just decided to clear his hand out, and maybe he's hoping it doesn't get to second cycle.
Now, block cards cannot be played from Arsenal, only reactions. So if you ever put a block card in your Arsenal, you had better hope you have a Crown of Providence, folks. Otherwise, you're playing off just the 4 cards.
Yep. Anthony Pham coming in here, 3 damage with a go again counter on his Plasma Purifier. We're going to see this type of repetition a lot on his side. It's just pistol after pistol after pistol.
The Purifier gives him the +1. The Induction Chamber will allow him to gain go again. You'll still need to pay to put a pistol counter, to load the pistol. God help me.
Yep.
And you'll also need to pay to load up that Plasma Purifier. So at this stage, it doesn't look amazing value-wise. But again, these are cards that are just going back into Anthony's deck. They're being pitched away. He isn't spending any cards from his deck to do this.
By the time it gets to late game, those blues can be 1-card 10s almost.
Yeah.
1-card 5s. You need 2 blues to get the 2/5 attacks, but it becomes really efficient late game.
Yeah, and that's why we're talking about getting value off Rampart of the Ram's Head. It doesn't really measure up to what the Dash can do at that stage of the game. So we're going Lightning Strike with go again for 5 into Debilitate.
Yeah, more good attacking pressure here.
Okay, we have a Reinforce the Line coming out there. Pretty important as it's actually an instant, not a defense reaction, that will give a card extra block power. Pitch a Tekla Core here. We're going to give +1 to pistol shots now by activating the Purifier. And so again, this might be just 2 instances of 3 go again. But importantly, Anthony has the resources to reload the Plasma Purifier, rather the Induction Chamber afterwards.
Chris just thinking about whether he wants to take this and send the 5-card hand. It's really tough to be in the Guardian position because you are getting value by blocking, but every card you block with is not then being spent on offense. So it can feel like a good play to preserve life, and then in the end sort of bite you when it comes to late game, when you need to have that extra life to take the pistol hits to try to close the game out.
Yeah, you are. In theory, these cards are worth 3 on average. Victor, though, can give you the kind of value that gives you sort of 2 card 8s. So that makes you feel like using a card for only 3 value on block is actually not where you need to be on rate to match what Dash can do here.
And we can see that Chris Iaali just took both pistol shots, sending all of his cards. And you've got the Enlightened Strike in there, along with the Rouse the Ancients. This could be a 3-wide turn. I didn't see what was in his arsenal.
Yeah, unclear. I think it's probably just a 7
just be a 14 damage 4-card hand, yeah.
Still respectable, but if Anthony is sitting on 2 defense reactions, he can match this with the blocking power of his hand. Yeah, 7 then 7. Send away the choke slam, I think it was. Okay, we can't block it all. We're going to leak a little bit of damage, but that's acceptable to Dash. Anthony Pham has not found another item since that Spark of Genius turn 0.
Yeah, blocking with your whole hand can sometimes feel really bad as the defending player, but when you draw into things like the double trounce that we saw earlier, the Guardians can actually really struggle to spend all 5 cards, so it's not so bad to give up your hand and just say, show me what you got.
That's a great point. I mean, yeah, it feels uncomfortable not to be able to do anything on attack, but you're right. Guardians don't always have the ways to generate these extra
this is a
action points.
4-card 8. It's not that strong, and so Anthony really didn't get punished for giving the whole hand up.
Chris obviously wants to over-pitch here by pitching the Command and Conquer first, because honestly, he needs to get some new cards, dig a little bit deeper, and hey, having a 6 in the deck for later on doesn't hurt. This deck does feature, I can say that now, we're open deck list, 2 red pummels, so that is an option. Can definitely be disruptive.
Yeah, he's probably just fishing for as much go again or as early as possible, and a Command and Conquer does not fit that game plan.
No Terrace under here for the Victor. This has started to make its way into a few lists, as we saw earlier. 2-card block here, so leaking some further damage. And this is, again, what Victor does well. Many decks don't really want to give you more than 2 cards on an 8-power attack. So you leak damage, you gain value, and you honestly end up fatiguing by damage. All right, load it up. Here we go again.
Pistol for 3.
So right now, Chris is presenting more damage per turn cycle on average than Anthony, but Anthony's damage is not really something that Chris wants to block. Oh, the test of strength on the top.
No gold, so that's just going to fizzle, and Anthony gets the gold.
Chris doesn't have any gold as well to use Victor's ability to get to clash again by spending it. So, oh my goodness, you've just given the man some gold. That is brutal stuff. Not what you want to see. Victor needs that gold to gain that value across the game. Oh, that's a good card in this matchup. My God. T-Bone says, you got to block with some armor. But Chris doesn't have any 0 block armor at all. So T-Bone against this equipment suite is actually very powerful. It's going to demand a piece of armor that will lose durability, get -1 counters. It's not what Chris wants to see.
Giving up the civic steps here.
What do you make of this?
Does Anthony have any cards in hand?
I mean, quick and toke. I guess Chris says
this is actually a fantastic time to use it. He can't pay for another pistol shot here, so he just opts the quicken.
There we go.
It's very hard to find windows to get the give the quicken token to Dash, but Chris Iaali actually brilliantly using the civic steps.
It's important to point out that Teclo Plasma Pistol is not a once per turn action. If you have the action points and you can load it, you can go all day. So very nicely done. Great civic steps block here. I mean, this Chris Iaali is not a Guardian player. It doesn't matter. The guy really knows how to pilot any deck here in Flesh and Blood. Sending 6, though, doesn't feel amazing.
Yep. Anthony Pham, that's his game plan. Block with 2 cards, pitch a blue.
Keep doing it. You can have your gold. I'm going to crack it.
Interesting. He may just be digging, wanting to get that item out just a little bit earlier there. Set up the Exodia.
Okay. We are loading the pistol with that left over. Twin drive as well. We'll load the induction chamber.
Seeing the twin drive pitched here is actually really interesting because he needs that to close games. He's going to gain a lot of action points off of a high octane later on. And twin drive is fantastic because you can boost twice, allowing you to gain 2 action points instead of just 1 off of a single boost card.
Yeah, I mean, there are 3 copies of maximum velocity here in Anthony's deck, but he's really not going for that kind of game plan here. The odds of him being able to sort of boost enough times. Outside of Twin Drive, lets you do it a bit more easily.
Yeah.
Pretty
Usually with
unlikely.
all the D-reacts in his deck, it's hard to line something like that up.
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, if to boost, he needs to banish Mechanologist cards, and if it's a non-mech card off the top, then he doesn't get the boost. He doesn't get the go again, and that would completely... So adding these cards, fat decking to some degree, or watering down the ratio of Mechanologist cards makes it a little risky to boost at all.
Yeah, exactly. So they typically like to just play slow, controlled, and
It's like Twin Drive, right? I mean,
yeah.
it lets you at least get go again. You're not gonna boost 2 non-mech cards.
It's the
surely.
exact card you want to see in your second cycle. When it's time to end the game, having a double boost card right there at the end. That's gravy.
All right, what do we got here? Command and Conquer. Haha, gotcha. All right, just CNC coming across here. C doesn't benefit from the cost reduction of the seismic surge, but still is a disruptive effect. And Anthony,
Cashing it in.
might as well get some use out of the Crown of Providence here. Again, Chris is not on Final Spring Tunic, so you have to draw a natty 4-card CNC pummel hand to really sort of make that happen. Could be hard off just 2 cards. But that's what the Tunic Guardians do very well. There's no Final Spring Tunic in Chris's list either. Very straight down the line, well-behaved deck building here from Chris. A very standard Victor list.
Here we go again. Another 3. Anthony was quick with that first item, but seems to have slowed down a little bit. Not really establishing the rest yet. So Chris has got to be happy to see that. But you know they're coming. And at 31 life, he's still got plenty of time.
Well, what is crazy is that, Anthony is just playing a slow game and looking for items. He hasn't reached that sort of, oppressive state where Dash has 5 items to power this Mega Pistol. But he's still walking the life total down quite comfortably against a deck that is renowned for having great value at all times.
Yeah.
Chris hasn't been able to open this life gap in his favor at all.
No, it seems like Anthony is in very much control of this game.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Boosting away a non-mech card, so that will not have go again. It's the reinforce the line going to the banish.
Yeah, that's what we talked about before, right? Some of those generics, the non-mech cards here make boosting hard. However, it just means Anthony has a acceptable, hopefully, Arsenal target.
I think he's perfectly happy.
This is what the game against the game plan against Pistol Dash for many decks is to just ignore the pistols. But you are on a clock. And again, unless Chris can get something truly disruptive here, like ruin Anthony's plan, Anthony just blocks with the cards he needs to. And these T-bones are disgusting if he gets to keep like more than 1 card hand. Like Dash is inherently favored here.
Yeah, absolutely. One of Dash's best matchups, which is probably why Anthony put that on the duck.
Maybe pummel here. On the Zealous, cover it over to a degree. Do we have more defense reactions here, Mr. Pham? Or are we selecting a card to discard? 9 on hit, your opponent must discard. We are sinking.
Yeah, that was opting, but yes.
Opting, excuse me.
And then discards.
All right.
That's a powerful turn.
15 damage. That's where you need to be. Anthony really wants to hold on to those 2 cards. One of those.
Yeah, I think he values the blue in hand more because he can reload all of those counters with it. Okay. Just send 6.
Yeah.
1 card 6, no big deal.
Come in for 3 first. Again, maybe wanting the resources here to reload that induction chamber and the purifier after the fact.
And we're finally seeing Chris decide to block.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a little low. Maybe he's realizing he has some redundancy in his hand here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he can use 4 cards, he never blocks because he knows that the later this game goes.
Christ, we're 12 minutes in.
Yeah.
Look at these life. I mean, we're getting there. All right. Oh, okay. That's not the item that Anthony's looking for. Teclo Pounder. It also doesn't block here, so a little scary.
Yeah, that's just an extra blue, something to help load those pistols up.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony wants to keep it blue anyway, so one of them being a non-block is fine. 2 of them, well, it starts to be a problem. Throttle put in front. Nice border, mate. All right, and we're going to give just the 1 card here to the Anathos. So actually going to take 3, yeah. All right, keeping an extra card. Is that a high octane that he wants to Arsenal, perhaps? Makes sense. If you give Anthony any opening, you stumble at all, and he can have like a turn we can boost, maybe twice even, as the resources to keep reloading that pistol.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how long he decides to hold on to that, if he wants to wait until he gets more of those plasma purifiers or if he just kind of rips it to put some pressure on.
He took 3 to keep it, but you probably feel like that pays itself back later on.
I imagine he's really hoping to see some of those items sooner rather than later so that he doesn't get stuck with that in his arsenal for too long.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting through here. Anthony's still only on a couple of items, but such is the matchup that Dash can still do pretty well with just this setup, right? Just send that 1 card 6.
Well, if Chris can keep life parity and then get him with a sneaky pummel when he doesn't have a D-React in hand, like that's probably the only way he can win this game.
Okay. Yeah, something disruptive. Golden Sun with overpower, probably not enough. That's good for raw numbers, but Anthony has so many ways to play around overpower with reactions, reinforce the line.
That's what's so scary about this deck is you really can't rely on dominate or overpower to close games.
Here comes the pistol again. I'm taking it, he says.
Yeah.
Down to 11. Chris Iaali, our 5th seed here on Victor Goldmane. Not the deck you would have chosen, I suspect. But hey, this is what you get for putting your fate in your friends' hands. They will almost always find a way to make it hellish for you.
And we see a Golden Sun in his hand. Going back to the turn he lost that clash, he really wishes he had a gold right now to be able to go 5 into 10. Instead, it's looking like probably just 5 into 7.
Which is fine.
It's fine. It's okay. He may even choose to arsenal it and just swing the hammer. It's only one extra point of value, so I imagine that might be the more efficient play.
I mean, playing Golden Sun on printed value is not where you want to be.
Chris needs to get some clash wins like yesterday.
He's a clash card. I mean, well, you got the double trounce coming back in that next cycle, buddy. Don't worry. It's going to be there. Yeah, pitch that Golden Sun until you can build up a bit of a bank here. Anthony, very quick to put some cards here in front.
Yep. Preserve the life total.
Spark of Genius being one of them, though. Interesting. That's one way to guarantee yourself being able to draw.
Yeah, that is interesting. We were just talking about how he wants to get those items out, but here he is blocking with his tutor.
I mean, it's expensive, right, to get a 2 cost off that Spark of Genius?
It is, and he didn't have the cards in hand to do that. Valuing his life total a little bit more than speeding up the items. He figures he'll see them, and he's got plenty of life to work with, so why not just be patient instead of taking a bunch of damage off up front?
Right now, game's in Anthony's hands. Needs to avoid boosting any items. It's going to be important. But yeah, even with his current setup, like he could really just grind Victor down. Eventually, Victor's offering 2 cards to block 6 and has pretty middling hands in general. Here's a Clash of Vigor. Marcher off the top. That will win the clash. We got one, folks. We got one.
Opens up the 2-card 8 potential.
That's right. Vigor very important to the Guardian, as most of those 8 power attacks cost 4. You don't want to be having to pitch 2 cards to pay for them. Red Macho used on blocks there, so Chris now starting to feel the pinch a little bit.
And there it is, the 2-card 8. That is a debilitate if it crushes -2 on the first attack, including weapon attacks. Very versatile card.
And remarkably inefficient for Anthony to block in its entirety, so he will leak some damage.
Yep.
That's what Victor wants to be doing pretty regularly, not once in a blue moon as we're seeing here.
But very much on the back foot as Anthony develops his next plasma purifier.
So now obviously it costs more than a blue to sort of keep this forge going. You don't have to use both purifiers. It's more of just like I get to keep more cards this turn. Well, you're getting hit harder.
This is what Chris Iaali needs. The Rouse the Ancients coming in for 7 go again, revealing 2.
Got a Macho and a Buckling Blow.
Yep, adding up to 13 power is how you activate that card, and that totals to 14.
Is it 6 and
6 and 8?
6 and 8, that's right. All right. Yeah, for the first time, we're starting to see Red Macho Grande make its return. Really only for Victor. Bit of fun. 10 dominate. Not cheap to play, but important in the mirror, especially. Here's a Spinal.
This was a big turn. Really important. Seeing him take the damage there probably indicated that he wanted to keep more cards in his hand, but this is going to turn off go again on everything, including all of the plasma purifiers and induction chambers on the board.
I think Anthony has another item in hand here, so.
Really?
Yeah, and maybe a blue, so.
Well, he'll need to give 2 cards to prevent that crush effect.
I mean, he might not care to have go again if he's just going to develop an item next turn. That'll use his action
true.
point
If he
anyway.
can develop an item, he'll be fine. But if he was hoping to put counters on all of his items, he can't do that.
Yeah, he's thinking on this one. You'd think normally you just give a 2-card block here, stop the crush effect, and go on with your life.
He does have 3 block on his equipment that he could choose to use here if he wanted to. So he's not completely out of luck if he only has 1 card to block with. But you can see he's for the first time in the game, kind of thinking about how he wants to play this out.
Yeah, it's a sprocket rocket, a 0 to 60, and
Yeah, and there comes the equipment. No, not very happy with his hand at the moment.
yeah, he's stuck with just the item in hand. You don't want to spend multiple cycles with a non-block card in your hand. You really want to get it.
Yeah, that does look like an item, and it looks like he...
Purifier, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, getting to attack for 5.
You said it was a sprocket rocket, right? So that's a red card, which means that he can't block with the blue and still play the item.
I'm not sure. I think it's a sprocket. I mean, it can be blue sprocket rocket.
I see pink. I think that is what that is.
Right.
Is he running a blue?
He's
Oh,
got
he's
3
running,
blues.
so that it could very well be a blue.
Wait,
He's breaking one of his...
he's giving up the purifier to give the adaptive plating +2 blocks. So 3 block
What?
here. What is the... Okay, so...
That is a very interesting play. Anthony Pham's a great player, so we're going to have to ask him about that decision after the game. Just develops another one. He says, I don't need 3 to close it.
Which I definitely agree with. Yeah, why not just? Yeah, I guess he doesn't want to get stuck with stuck with it in his hand.
I'm curious about not just cashing in the chess piece there.
Yeah,
Could have blocked 3 total, and
you might
kept the
be
purifier.
worried about potential dominate effects.
I see.
Right.
That's fascinating. These are the kinds of plays that the top players make that are often very difficult to see.
Yeah, just like looking at this list, right? The red machos, the blue machos, they're all, when you get to this stage of the game, also as well, it helps you with Golden Suns, which is, we've seen Chris pitch on multiple occasions now.
And look at this. Once again, he doesn't
trounces
send any
are back.
attacks, and the trounce is in the hand.
And they're reds. That's so painful.
Not what Chris wants to see either.
Yeah. Another way. I mean, Guardians get extra punished running these now when you pass
Is
back
that
without doing anything.
Test of strength behind it.
I think it might be. And you know what? I mean, he pitched his trounces together
Yeah.
initially. I don't know if we're at this. We should be at the second cycle either now or very soon. So, okay. Outmuscle red being pitched for a seismic surge. Anathos. Oh, this is the stumble turn that Anthony was
Only
looking
6,
for.
and I think he might be considering
Are we
putting one of
boosting?
those block cards in Arsenal and just Crown of Providence it away.
Oh,
That is not so awful.
that is absolutely brutal. Yeah, no choice. I mean, you got to pitch the out muscle away. I get it.
He could also consider just not arsenaling.
I mean, Anthony's definitely going to do something next turn. I mean, you let this guy have 2 cards.
Yeah, and so we're definitely going to see the Crown of Providence used to help clear that up.
Oh, buddy. Okay, cranial macho in hand might be a pummel to round it out. Ugh. Weird time of the game for that, but hey, you know what? Pummel and Crown of Providence blocks 4.
True.
Yeah, you can get efficient blocks finally.
This might be the test of strength, though, coming on. Oh, starts with the...
He probably just
crown.
wants max info
Did he
here.
keep the trounce or the test?
Keep the trounce.
Okay, so he just goes for the
Right,
trounce.
let's do it. Oh, okay. We're
Did
good.
he win that one, or was it a tie? What did
It's a clash of
Anthony
figure,
show?
right? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we're good. I think
It was
we're
a
good.
4 power. I didn't see what Anthony... Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
A lucky break for Chris.
We are doing the thing, folks. Vigor, Might, and Gold tokens generated as Chris wins 2 consecutive clashes from Trounce. Oh, he's living the life.
Getting this gold is really important at this stage of the game because he's looking to get a Golden Sun to close the game out. One of the most powerful cards he can play with that overpower and 10 damage as long as he destroys a gold token.
Nathaniel, yeah, adaptive plating allows you to sack an item to give it +2 block power. So that's how we get
Galvanize mechanic.
Galvanize. Okay, here we go. Activating all our stuff here.
4 more attack coming out.
Chris getting a little low on life here, but again, now with that sort of vigor token, yeah, those attacks start to become a bit more punishing. All right, nobody saw that. Nobody saw you put a block card in Arsenal. Another Macho card in hand here. So good cards to see at this stage of the game.
Absolutely.
Consecutive, damage that's really hard to mitigate.
And so this is where keeping that armor around matters a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Deal with those dominate effects. That's why. Yeah, and Anthony did still, of course, choose to sort of galvanize there and try and get 3 value. I mean, you do, if you play adaptive plating, you do want to get 3 block from that arm piece, right? If you can.
Yeah, I mean, giving up a plasma purifier that you
Yeah.
took a turn off to play.
It's a line.
It's
That's
a
for
choice,
sure.
yeah.
That's not a Golden Sun. Sorry, it looks like a Thunderquake instead.
Seems like Anthony just doesn't really value the extra 1 damage. I think he thinks that just the breakpoint of 4 is good enough. So, fascinating.
Here's a seismic. Pitch 2 blues to this.
Red Macho coming in for 11 with the might and a dominate. That's a lot of
couple
damage.
turns of this is what Chris Iaali's looking for. He might have, God forbid, pocket the blue Macho Grande. Okay, we have a block here. 2 blocks.
See the armor come in.
Still 6 damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage to be taking at 11 life.
We can pass the reacts here and see if Anthony has anything more to do. Does not look like it.
I'm sure he's worried about a pummel, but has he arsenaled a D-react to help him
Chris
deal with
has
this?
a pummel, no? Well, no, it's a previous turn cycle, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he drew one up.
Oh, that would be pretty nasty.
Yeah, that would be.
Oh, he does have it. The pummel! Oh my goodness! Wait. 15 dominate, blocked by 5, go to 1, discard? Oh, that's scary. And that, I mean, he pitched the other blue Macho to do this, right?
Yeah.
But we know that there are Golden Suns lurking in this second cycle somewhere.
He's got that gold out ready to go.
Oh, man, it's cracked! Oh, these dominate effects.
Did you see what he just drew?
Golden Sun?
That's a Golden Sun. And he has a seismic surge, so he only needs to keep 2 cards to play this.
That's right, it's as good as a Vigor in this case. And a gold token there for Chris.
But this is the high octane turn. This is huge for Anthony. He could push a lot of damage. If he can strip more than 2 cards out, that's a huge
That's right, Chris is going to keep 2 cards.
8 life and 2 pieces of equipment
that's
to block
12
with.
in total?
And there's that, the twin drive here, giving 2 action points, plus the go again, 3 off of a single card.
What a time for this to come. Chris might just have to give it all this turn. Quicken token, of course, might be an option. The Civic Steps to get into block here, but...
You do not want to give the Quicken token on this turn. That would be...
With all the action points?
+1, -4.
Yeah, devastating now, of course, with double Plasma Purifier used. Yeah, you don't touch that. Already reaching for the equipment here. Chris is doing the math.
Yeah, he needs to survive with 2 cards in hand this turn, and Anthony does not want to let that happen.
There's no way that's happening. There's no way that's happening. Chris has to give it up here. So it's going to be 16, technically 17 points of block to work with here. That's probably enough to stay alive, but forget going for the win here. You're going to have to go for something a bit more conservative. Taking it.
He's... We'll have to see. I think he might... I haven't done all the math on the... So we've got 4, 8, 12 coming in after this. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Didn't you say 17? He needs 17 to stay alive? That's exactly how much we're looking at here.
That is nasty.
He may be able to stay alive at 1. I'll have to check my math. I'm a little bit brain foggy after the day.
We still need to be reloading the plasma pistol, right? So
yeah, he'll need to pay for that. Well, he doesn't have to... Well, yeah, he has to reload the pistol in order to get those 3 shots off. But that's... So he'll need 1 more blue. I'm not sure what he's got face down on the table there. But if it's a blue, he should be representing 17 exactly. With 5 + 4 + 4 + 4.
Down to the absolute T. So it's got to be perfect blocking here for Chris to even have a chance. Surely it's a blue. It's got to be a blue for Anthony.
Yep.
Oh, it's a yellow. Wait.
He's going for
Boost.
1 extra resource.
He got it. Oh, and the little grin on his face. I think Chris knows that he's absolutely chalked here. Anthony, of course, Teklo, Foundry, Heart. Gives him that +1 on resource he was looking for, virtually turning that blue in that yellow into a blue. And here come the pistols. Time to get this man down. Is it? I mean, if you can't pay to reload the pistol, is it that bad to give Civics here? I mean, you are giving
That's true. That's a good point. He can use Civics here as long as he's safe
so that's
on the resources. So
17 block, right?
I think, yeah.
Hey, there it is. Get that in there, sir. Tech gets in there as well. So we're taking 1 from that pistol shot.
It is so hard to use Civic Steps in this matchup, and Chris has used it perfectly.
Yes, he found both spots. He found perfectly. He kept 2 cards.
Yep.
Hang on.
And he's got the seismic. He's got the gold, and he's got the Golden Sun.
Oh, buddy. Okay. We're going to go down to 4.
Not bad, Chris.
Here it is. Golden Sun.
Now he's got to say, Anthony.
Any D-reacts?
What's in your hand?
Many? Chris Iaali.
Oh, my God.
Gets there. Unbelievable. Chris Iaali advances to our semifinals here. Anthony Pham just can't quite get there. And it looks like that bet ends up being bad beats for your boy on the left.
In a hugely unfavored matchup, the first time Chris has brought Guardian to an event, he's showing the world how good he is at flesh and blood, full stop. Put him on anything.
So I guess, yeah, it was 5 plus 12, right? In theory, we did get 3 pistol attacks,
Yeah,
right?
I think the problem was he didn't have the blue, so he actually only had the 2 resources from his chest activation. He didn't have the ability to pay for that last pistol, even if he had the go again.
Oh, I thought he had a yellow and he pitched one of it into the Foundry Heart, so it should go to...
Was it yellow into the Foundry?
Yeah, like yellow. I think he had a blue, then yellow zipper here. Either way, he pulled up short by 3 damage at the end. So the Civic Steps, I mean...
There was a miscalculation somewhere in there. I don't know.
that was
Maybe chat will catch it. If we read back, I'm sure they're yelling at us for making.
Yeah, because I thought, like, looking down that high octane turn, it was about over here. But this is, look, this is something that Victor decks are able to do more and more. Not in the past, not all of them were running this red Macho, but a big complaint from a lot of Victor players was like, it's just hard for us to end the game. We only have blue Macho and we have Golden Sun. That's like the only evasive damage we have. And generally, we'll find our opponent can sort of block us out and, you know, just have a high enough life total to pivot off and just sort of, you know, win the game there. Now, though, decks are bringing in Terror Thunder, which is clunky, we talked about. But Red Macho fits a little bit better, right? You know, and alongside all these good value cards to force blocking cards at your opponent and to steal tempo away, you have these Machos that can end the game really nicely.
The Macho pummel was absolutely huge. I'm very curious to know if that was pitch stacked. I didn't see him pitch those cards together, so that could have been sort of the end of his first cycle. But regardless, having those 2 cards in hand plus a full grip was game-changing for Chris. And I think that he's just one of those players that can see those lines, know when to block, know how to block. He was taking so much damage early game, and he just found it.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. We're going to go to a break here, and we might have a chance to catch up with our Victor in a moment. For those wondering, of course, there's not just circuit points on the line. It's an Arcane Lantern. Look at that. It's that beautiful full art. Big fan of that one. Of course, the title of April AGE champion, by the way. I think you're contractually obliged to wear your medals to these events. Thankfully, the Scourge of Pasadena is on a break right now because his neck got so bent over from wearing all of his medals. Thoughts out to Craig, of course. I hope to see him again soon. But that's what we have for now. We're going to come back afterwards. We might have a chance to get a chat to Chris. Otherwise, we'll advance with the rest of our top 8. Up next, semi-finals. All right, back early here in the booth at AGE Open for April. Mitch Leslie here, joined by Chris Iaali, newly minted Guardian main. I mean, you've got to be feeling euphoric right now. Not only are you, of course, advancing in our top 8, but you're playing the most fun games of Flesh and Blood you've ever played. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Obviously, we talked about the bet. I mean, there's got to be some vindication of you taking down Anthony, who managed to guess your favorite movie here. Like, there's got to be some. I could see like the vibes at the table were good, but got to be feeling pretty decent to get a win here.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really close game. Yeah, I barely got it out.
Yeah.
In the end. But.
Well, let's talk about it, because obviously it's a pretty tough game. You just ignore the pistols for most of the game, right? You're pitching a lot of those machos. Second cycle, you get somebody that double trounce hand, and then he just Arsenal passes, or he just like loads pistols and passes.
Yeah, he's
How
so good
like
at that.
yeah, you end up arseling one of them. Just have to crown a providence in a way.
Exactly, yeah, just try to get the card back somehow.
Yeah,
And
I've got to ask you. That sort of macho pummel turn feels like that's where it really opened up here. You know, like I think you like providenced into a 5-carder, and so you knew you'd sort of have a big turn to come back from. Is that when you felt like you were going to get over the line?
Yeah, it was definitely a key part. I think what the macho pummel did, like even though it puts him to 1, the biggest thing that it does is it forces him to go off them. Like if he gets another turn where he gets to actually have like a bigger high octane turn, I definitely lose the game. Like even on that last turn, if he has a blue instead of the yellow zipper hit, or if he draws a yellow or a blue instead of the twin drive,
Yeah,
I lose.
you know, he discarded the Teklo Pounder instead of that yellow zipper hit, I think.
Yeah, I think he wanted to guarantee that he had a boost card
Yeah,
in his
okay.
hand. But
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you need to make
'cause
sure.
if you high octane into a D-React, then it's
Yeah.
not the greatest. But yeah, super close game. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you come out of it. Now, tell me, if you actually got to choose, what would you have played here at AG?
I played Viserai at the Pro Tour in LA,
Yeah.
and I was tweaking it a little bit, and I still like the deck. I think it's pretty good, especially if there's going to be a lot of warriors that show up.
Yep.
So I probably would have leaned towards Viserai still.
Gotcha. Yeah, obviously. And that list, which we didn't really get to see showcased much, I think the only Israel we got was like a mid-range one. I kind of was on the receiving end of this last year to ProQuest.
Yeah.
So it's a similar idea, right? You're trying to stack a lot of those rune chants up and really just like have these spike turns with those.
Exactly, yeah. It focuses a lot on the auras. The new Sonata Galaxia is really strong in the deck, and gives you extra value on those rune chants.
Yeah.
So.
Dromai rotating out soon.
Yep.
What is going to be your go-to in lieu of that? You feel like you still want to pilot that Viserai list and sort of go over that, or?
I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to play Viserai was because of how popular Dromai was.
Yeah.
Like, I think the rune chants are still really hard for the all-red deck to deal with, right? But, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what the new heroes look like. I wouldn't be surprised if Katsu gets to use some of the new cards and ends up being really strong. So
Any of the new misfail heroes stand out to you particularly, or you just sort of interested in how it affects the wider meta and some of the maybe side grades that some of these other decks get?
Yeah, I want to see more about what all the Mystic cards are about. But I do like the Assassin and Ninja class in general. So I wouldn't be surprised if I lean towards those heroes.
So you're off Bolton. You're on Bolton for a while. You were. I watched every week of the Arclight League. Few Bolton games there. I also saw, was it in Philly where you had to play the Fatigue Bravo in the first round?
Hartford.
Yeah, Hartford.
Yeah,
I've never seen you look so unhappy. But dark.
Anthony.
So you're off that. You're off that now.
No, I really like Bolton still. And definitely with Dromai leaving, Bolton gets better too. So we'll see.
Well, good luck in the rest of the top 8, Chris. Thanks for your time. Thanks for
thank
joining me. Chris Iaali, of course, former world number 2, and now ripping it up here, Anthony Pham. I mean, be careful what you wish for, big son. This is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. We'll see you after the break with more of our top 8 semi-finals coming at you right here at Arcane Events April Open. We are back, folks, here in the booth at your AGE Open for the month of April. I'm Mitch Leslie, joined by none other than Marcus Brown. Jen, thank you so much for joining
How you doing,
me.
mate?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, buddy. Marcus, obviously a competitor here, AGE, of course, with some great results in the past. Someone that we go back, almost a couple of years now.
Nearly 3 years.
Yeah, one of my first armories, I turn up to a small store called Shuffle and Cut in Brea. It's like a 6-person armory, and you're there. I'm like, another foreigner. This is bloody brilliant. Yeah, and then we jam some games in. So obviously you've come a long way as a player since then. Me, not so much, but
I wouldn't say that. No.
How's your day been? You're on Victor Gold, mate.
It started off really good. I had to send a homie packing in John Zapata.
Oh yeah.
Because he was on Azalea and he was like, "Oh no, you're on Guardian."
Yeah.
But which Guardian are you playing? And I was like, Victor. And that was sort of a close grind, despite winning all of the clashes and everything.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, I had all of the power, I had all of the tempo, and like the ball was in my court.
Yeah.
Then round 2 matched into Teklevossen, our friend Connor.
Yeah, Connor, another team kill virtually. Yeah, one of the homies from Shuffle as well.
The only thing you need to know about that match is that he ended on 17 life and flipped, and
Oh, buddy.
loss.
Yep.
Then I matched into Clark on Levia. That was a close one, but I won a lot of clashes.
Yep.
Got there.
Crucial.
Then into Ryan on Kano, and I only brought Malrune boots.
Yeah, AV1, yep. It's a tough matchup for you.
And he had a lot of D-reacts. He was doing the stack
the
Kano.
D-react Kano, bro.
So I guess Peter Bedensic gets to like flex that one on x.com, Twitter.
I don't know how much flexing he's doing after his day, mate. Yeah, another rough one, I think, for the Vegas squad in general. Yeah.
And then 2 wins to round it out against Dromine round 6, and then...
Yeah, watch that game. Went down to right down to the last few cards there. He got there, though.
I was on the last 3 cards. He was on the last no card because he had cast Remembrance and put out Mirror Guy about 8 times.
Yeah, a lot of mirror guys, and you basically...
Chromite 4 times.
You're just taking and like you're having to give up 2 cards for every Kylori you hit, and come back and good patience. So there's a few points where I'm like, he can send like a Golden Sun here, but you behave yourself really. Yeah, it's just,
I really had to knuckle down and play conservative. I felt like Craig for a moment.
Yep.
But got there in the end.
Nicely done. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we've got going on today. So again, important, $1,000 on the line. Every single AGE Open. This one, of course, a crucial part of the entire circuit for the year. 30 open points to the winner, 25-20 as it so goes. And you can see our standings as they are currently. This is coming into this month. So Charles Dunn, of course, current United States national champion, leads the pack, but unfortunately bubbled in 9th today. Of course, a few known names there in that list. You can expect to see Alan, who's actually in our next match here. So he's going to come away with some more circuit points, start to head up there. Tyler's doing very well as well. And a few players will make their way into our top standings based on their performances today. Let's talk the top 8. We got to catch Chris Iaali taking Anthony Pham to task. Meanwhile, Fuzzy Delp, he manages to get a win there over Angel Benitez. So again, very aggressive matchup, but Levi can sometimes struggle to keep up, and Dishonor is pretty damn brutal. Tyler Horspool with his 2nd consecutive Dromai matchup, able to come out on top there, sending Patrick Rubalcava to the Shadow Realm. So he'll be going up against that Katsu in that other semi-final. We, though, just for your viewing pleasure, Marcus, you dabble
Just
in
for
Warriors.
mine? No, just for the audience as well.
Well, I guess, but, also, we know you're a Guardian aficionado here. We're going to be jumping into a Guardian matchup. Alan Hoang, Lubers rise up, first seed here in this top 8. You're a big Bravo man for a long time, Marcus. Victor now being your current love. Chris Iaali piloting that list here. Give us the cliff notes on how this matchup is sort of supposed to play out.
So you're honestly going to see a lot of the things that you will see in most Guardian mirrors, which is valuing of raw damage and go-agains, your Zealous Beltings and Rouses, E-Strikes, should you play them. But sometimes, from the Victor side, running Trounce is a personal preference. Some people like to just rip it first cycle and say...
Feels risky, no?
It does feel very risky, but depending on how much of a fat deck the player in question does, they have a better clash odds and play like a clean 60 to 63, something like that. But one thing is to be said of the other clash card, Test of Strength. Going card neutral on basically a sync below that can play around Command and Conquer, so you aren't stuck with a D-react in hand when they pummel that thing. Pretty good.
Yeah, that seems very powerful. And again, the gold can definitely be used by a Bravo, even if not powering up something like a Golden Sun. Great for filtering their hand, of course, still leaving that sort of resource floating. Also helps with a lot of those, 4-cost attack action cards. Chris here, we talked about, didn't really expect to be finding himself on Victor Goldmain this time around, and still shaking his head ruefully, wondering how this happened. Alan is a killer. He is, frequent ProQuest top 8er, winner at times here, RTN, attendee extraordinaire, and this is his love. He is a Bravo player through and through. He's also sleeping in the player break, so been a long day for Alan. Needs to keep it together because Chris seems inexhaustible. Inexhaustible. Looks like Alan's going to be going first here, Marcus. He's thinking about it. Oh, okay, thank you. What are we supposed to be seeing there, mate? A little bit longer for us.
So he's getting a Surge out. He wants to put the Zealous to the bottom. He's just going to Sigil.
Little Sigil.
It might be just that. I think I see a pummel in his hand. Yeah, he will put that cleanly in Arsenal.
Was that a CNC, the other card?
It could have bin.
A full red hand? I'm not too sure.
It's
It is a CNC,
it's not the worst when you have the opportunity to, as first seed, pick who goes first, basically sculpt your hand, and allow no filter from the opposing player.
And again, you have the old natty CNC pummel here, unless this is a disruptive effect. Ooh, okay.
Not too bad. Chokeslam red.
Chokeslam, though, is a problem if you're wanting to gain power on your attack action cards.
And I wonder what that card could be that we just saw in the arsenal,
Kind of ruins the CNC pummel plan a bit here. So Alan now will need to respect this with 2 cards, which means that without a tunic counter up, that CNC pummel dream is dead.
It might just have to wait for a future turn, but we given that we're untimed in top 8, well, I might be eating my words because...
The test of strength. Is he hoping to... Okay.
I'm not sure. Alan
sorry, he's playing Bravo, excuse me.
Yeah.
All right,
Alan is giving an armor block on his turn, not even 1.
He wants to see
Not
it
even
bubble
his turn
so
2.
bad.
Okay, he's giving us Starstruck. We're taking 3.
Okay, so
We go back to 40.
no crush effect. Man, it must be nice to get a little buffer from the Sigil of Solace here, letting you keep an extra card.
Absolutely.
Oh, buddy.
Alan might want to, I think Connor will step in and put that die to 1 and not 2.
Oh, he's...
Just remake Surge and send CNC.
Seems like a pretty good use of some equipment block here to allow for this play. And the answer to does he have it in this matchup is yes. Yeah, give me the Crown of Providence. Give him the Crown of Providence.
Chris and Alan having a chuckle because Chris also has a Command and Conquer in hand and knows exactly what is going on in this equation.
Yeah, test of strength there as well. You are definitely going to be at a tempo disadvantage, suffering a CNC pummel here.
Now, one line Chris could take here with the test of strength in hand is he could give his gauntlets now, and so Alan doesn't gain anything by having the pummel in this hand, because as gauntlets might read, the next time something would gain power. Oh, but he could fold.
Okay,
Fold the
overblocking.
hand. Oh, no. Okay.
All right.
Well, there's no winners in this clash, but...
Again, it's the next time an attack will gain power against 1 less, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he gave gauntlets, the line I was thinking of, gauntlets, test of strength, and a 3 block, it would put him at 9 block, but that plays around a red pummel to the CNC because that's a 10.
And also potentially allows him to replace the blocking card.
But also very valid here for him to just fold 9, send 4. Alan doesn't get a whole lot by just pummeling him, dealing the 1 and putting him down a card and just passing back.
But how many turns can Alan just present this same conundrum, this CNC pummel potential?
I mean, playing around pummel for more than 1 turn is definitely holding it over your opponent's head. Playing it for multiple turns gets a bit more tense every turn you hold that thing or a unknown card that is basically representing pummel.
Certainly feels like the most disruptive on-hit effect that Alan kind of has in a matchup like this, right? Starstruck can be operated around. It's pretty hard to have a meaningful crush there. Spinal Crush also, the same issue. No sync on that. There was a trounce in hand, though. So Alan is running those here. All right. Tear Asunder? Okay.
Oh, no, just seems like a simple tear into Anathos 7, dominate on hit discard 2.
Again, that's pretty disruptive. That's pretty effective. Chris, obviously, yeah, I don't know if we have a D-React in Arsenal here for Chris, so ways around it would be offering some equipment. Unfortunately, the block cards are played from hand, so don't get you around dominate so easily.
It is actually another turn cycle where in first cycle here, Alan is threatening multiple cards from Chris. And it might resolve in a scenario where Chris is giving a bit more than he wants to this early, including his clash card, to keep hold of more than just the one card.
All right, we have...
Oh, no.
Here's the clash. Okay, that
This
one's
has to
going
be the
Alan's
most
way.
unlucky on-camera clash I've seen, because one test of strength has flipped another, and then another has flipped the third.
We get it, Chris. Yeah, we're not going to get you on the high striker anytime soon, mate.
But
it's okay.
At the very least, he's got 3 cards to work with here.
Yep, managed to eat through the disruptive potential of Terra Sunder, but has given up a decent amount of equipment block already. Alan, of course, has done so as well to try and threaten that CNC pummel. So we just send her. Yeah. Okay,
I can see
3-card
why he
night.
kept it, because it's a square 3-card play in Surge and Spinal. In the mirror especially, it's easy enough to give 2-3 blocks and be fine moving on from Spinal, taking 3. But for any hand that doesn't have the Go Again card in Arsenal, you are going to have to give some armor if you want to make that play now and here, or here and now, pardon me.
It is a disruptive effect in this matchup because both players are trying to have these go wide turns, right? Like a Rousey Ancients into Anathos, or you know, like a Zealous Belting, an E-Strike for 5. Like that's how you sort of go over the top here, and it's what you want to be doing in the second cycle. So normally, like if you think of the way Guardian plays, yeah, maybe not super relevant, but still probably going to be asking for 2 cards and the potential to leak a bit of damage through, which is kind of what Victor's game plan is, right? Send these value attacks that your opponent is not incentivized to block in their entirety.
He is basically looking for a square flesh and blood and not so much a tempo game.
Yeah.
So he's definitely looking for a fatigue by damage to a certain extent. Maybe not so much here in the Guardian Mirror, but in most matchups, he will slowly grind that value out.
Yeah, we're going to be looking for that, right? Turn cycle upon turn cycle, incremental value wins for these players.
Absolutely.
Can add up. They can really become insurmountable by the end of the game.
The game of inches is definitely magnified, and you can get myopic with it in the Guardian matchup, because like one armor block here, one armor block there, one lost card here to a pummel.
It's really easy to tunnel, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Given you're going to second cycle, it's going to come up somewhere, and it will matter.
So you allowing yourself to get crushed here. And
Alan took it all on the chin.
are you
Without a chin.
sending pulverize? Like, what is the...
No? Okay. Just a naked hammer swing. In his hand, he holds... I think I see a sink below, because that's a lot of purple and blue.
Why does he take 9 damage to send Anathos?
I wonder if it's perhaps a double pummel,
Oh, God.
because that's 14 damage over 5 cards. It's not the worst.
That is...
It's better with Tunic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, so 1 pummel in the Arsenal already, of course. We know that. That is just... that is genuinely bizarre from Alan here.
I don't know the rationale behind his blocks and his decision-making here,
I'm
but...
saying, it looks like an IP4 right now. So, test of strength now.
Okay, there can't possibly be another test of strength on top. There has to be a
Oh my
sink below.
God. Oh, the fat decking is killing Chris Allen. Bedecked
Okay.
with gold.
Okay, we've got one
Pummel.
pummel here, a very nice judge one. Oh, and a sigil.
Sigil.
Okay.
Okay. Fine to play here, I suppose. It's
This does make sense because he couldn't surge to get value there because he was crushed, but the sigil made it difficult.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that Spinal Crush doesn't stop you from getting go again on attacks. It stops you from getting go again. So your actions, like your tectonic plating active, will not get go again. So you'll end your turn after just doing that. That was a very odd turn cycle, but you know we end up being relatively neutral. Alan takes 9 to send 4 and gain 3. So fair enough. Awkward hand, for sure. Here's a gentleman's debilitate with 2 floating in a card.
So, interestingly, Chris has floated his surge and is sending it. Still with the 2 floating, so threatens the pummel in return.
Debilitate seems pretty annoying here to deal with as a Guardian. Losing.
Debilitate is very good as a 2-card play off of Surge or Tunic. Definitely swings little bits of tempo. Definitely what we're talking about with the game of inches.
Very clearly representing pummel is Chris Iaali, who has 2 of the red variety in this deck. I said deck.
Yeah, they're both playing 2 red pummels, I see.
Again, we talked about this. How annoying would this crush effect be to Alan, and how long can he afford to play around it? He turned his pummel into just some extra damage here. Okay.
Okay, so we're using gauntlets here, and it does play around that, and it's going to block the face-up damage.
Again, only 3 damage from this
Okay,
pummel, so
there we go.
no crush, just a discard effect. The sinks there. Covered it up. Nice try, Mr. Iaali, but you've got to get up early in the morning to get the better of such a veteran Guardian aficionado.
Guardian mains can't be caught sleeping.
No. That was Alan, to be fair. Literally.
I didn't think about that pun when I uttered it. Oops.
Literally sleeping on the table. All right. Well, was that a surge? No, we reconsider. Let's see Command and Conquer in hand here.
So he's probably thinking it over because he can take a surge into next turn if he does activate Tectonic and CNC, but he loses the card threatening value. So yeah, he'll opt to just swing 4.
Okay.
Tuck a Terrace under for a second cycle. It's always a bit of, how should we say, insurance for a late game when the Guardian that chose to give a little more armor earlier on, or was forced to in the hand that they were playing, less armor to bargain with in the second cycle. Terrace under means a lot more.
Chris is going to be the reason I roll it to Procurse next weekend with Victor. He'll hate to hear that, but I'll definitely tell him with glee. Yeah, good on you, Mad Lad Mike. That's called repping the boys.
It's happened to every Victor pilot at least once, whether it was Paper or Talashar. It's happened to you.
Oh, Chris Iaali. Just inspiring a generation of upcoming Victor Goldmain players. What a legacy to leave here.
Okay, blocking with blue debilitate, just getting chipped the 1, perfectly fine. E-strike here. Probably a 7, I would imagine. Yeah, there we go.
Just a 7. Seismic not doing much this turn, but Chris gets to sit on an arsenal here. How much does Bravo ability matter in this matchup? Are there any times where you're actually really just trying to force them dominate?
I would say absolutely against Victor, knowing that they only run a certain amount of reactions. Sometimes they can only run, like a full play set of red sinks, and that's it.
Yeah, no fates. Yeah.
Once you see all of them, you can kind of smell blood in the water. If they step off an arsenal on a key turn, you think, right, I've got a second cycle crippling or a terrace under. Let's give it a shot. But no, okay, we give a 2-card block. We proc Unity on Starstruck.
Okay, get a Seismic.
Alan has chipped 1, still at 33, so life parity.
Seismic might be relevant here. Or we just pitch Anthos 6.
Remake
That's also
it.
fine. 2 floating. I guess just getting incremental damage in sort of multiples of 4 doesn't hurt if you're trying to stick pummels on this Anathos frequently, but if it doesn't feel like you're living the dream.
I think it was more a case of Alan looked at his current hand in this first cycle and went, okay, the sigil is a bit annoying. I'm clunked up on this pummel as well. Let's send it now for raw value, catch Chris in reactions, and arsenal something better. Opt for, more cleaner, efficient plays later on. You can afford to let go 1 or 2 pummels to that raw damage on Anathos, but you want at least 1 to take a card from someone.
Does Pulverize have any sort of big impact in this matchup?
I would say the biggest one is definitely if you can find it in a turn 1 imposing showtime situation.
Yep.
For Bravo in particular. But given that Chris is also on Tectonic here in the mirror, you can always hold it back with Anathos as well and heave it in the mid game.
Yep.
When you get down to I don't know, 15 or below, you know, the single-digit life totals, you practically can't find enough space to put
Yeah.
a pulverize. It's just too tall of an attack.
You need some buffer to
Exactly.
pivot.
But given that it's 14 and, you know, most of the time it's going to force your opponent to fold the hand, you know, give you between, you know, 12, 14 block-ish. Maybe they give you armor to keep a swing, but
Because it's not a crush effect, is it? It's just
it's
if this hits
just
you.
an on-hit.
God damn, James White. God damn.
We,
Giving -4 on your opponent's first attack is, yeah, pretty good. Again, like a grown-up sort of debilitate effect, right?
okay, so we have a decent first cycle play here. Chris has revealed 2 blue machos to his rouse.
That sort of show, it does sort of, you know, give away the arsenal target here.
True, but I don't think he's not complaining about any arsenal he gets to grab here in the mirror because he's got crown. He's comfortable sending it away.
Yep.
He knows that it's a blue that he'll bottom to his pitch stack somewhere.
Still have 13 damage on the table here with that
Exactly.
Athos. Yeah, and maybe splitting those machos up a little bit, yeah, through the pitch stack feels a bit better.
Alan holds a crippling in hand. I think
Showtime there too.
I think it's 3 blues.
Okay, that's a nice little combo there.
Probably weighing just how much he wants to block with because you can afford to leak a little bit on Rouse and Zealous turns, but you ideally don't want to take too much because generally speaking, there will be one Guardian that's in the, like, you know, has the reins, so to speak. They're doing more of the Rouses, more of the Zealous, and sending more of the good value attacks. The other one is a bit more on the back foot and, like, just has to scrape by, present decent enough damage, and keep it together. Hold on for that second cycle.
All right, here's the 2
Giving
card
2
block.
blues, getting chipped 1. Alan consorts his graveyard. Probably because he's assessing whether he wants to let the crippling go and not.
Wondered like what density of them remain.
Exactly,
in his deck.
yeah, because it's the first copy that he's seen. We're in first cycle.
Yep.
I need to stop saying first cycle because
That's what I mean,
we're going to be in it for a little bit
Yeah,
in an untimed match.
Yeah, so we have to climb out of the tank first. We've
Okay,
done that
yeah.
here. Give it away.
He says, nope, I will fold.
I mean, look, it's about as powerful a turn as you get, right?
Mm.
You know, in this kind of matchup here. So, and again, you know, sometimes you just Arsenal pass and your opposing Guardian can't do a whole lot. Sometimes they draw up a hand that, okay, with 2 reds in there, looks like we can. Oh, we can't deploy the Rouse with a hand like this. We've got a lot of cards that with no.
Okay, Clash of Vigor.
Oh, we can.
No,
Excuse me.
there's a spinal.
Oh, it was a Thunderquake. No worries.
And yeah, T-Quake Blue.
All right. Well, we can do the thing here.
It's unfortunate that Chris didn't ever make a gold here in the first few
Right.
turns because he could always assess this and go, right, do I crack a gold and can I send the spinal?
Sitting on that blue Macho Grande in Arsenal still.
Mm.
So maybe just overpitch to Anathos here for 6 to follow it up.
Yeah, he's probably not going to convert much of this hand.
And Alan, though, again, seeing another Rouseations chain starter is once again thinking about giving it all.
Yeah, back-to-back Rouse can be a lot of cards that you end up folding. And like I said, when you have the Guardian Mirror and an active Guardian doing a lot of the hitting, a lot of the go-again attacks, what you'll see is that given that Alan just folded a whole hand, that's 4 cards down. Chris only spent 1 and he tucked 3 away. So you actually get to a second cycle faster because you're cycling more through your cards and you're the tempo player. You have the ball in your court. So Alan has to decide here again how he wants to block it.
We saw on the previous turn, just 2 cards off it up here. Leak 1 damage. Lubers rise up. Alan is on the back foot, though, right now. It's Chris Iaali, an absolute veteran of the Guardian class. Someone who I would say was, you know, born into it, molded by it. Probably didn't see a non-degenerate class till he was already an adult. Has absolutely sussed out the lines here.
Okay, there's a Pulverize in hand for Alan. He's grouping them together like they're a set for
little
a 6
pair.
block.
Gotta love Guardian Mirrors and Untimed Rounds. Boy, oh boy. Alan, if you want to get home and sleep, bro, just send it, dog. Send it. That's all I'm saying. Gotta look after yourself, buddy.
I can probably reckon he's got more sleep than I did during the entire Pro Tour long weekend.
Oh, yeah. Have a big one?
11 hours for 4 days.
Oh. I mean, you gotta enjoy it as well, especially if it's in your own backyard. That's the thing. I was still sort of commuting from home and had the little ones to look after, so I had to behave a little bit.
You had more responsibilities than I.
That's it, yes.
I had a few pets to take care of and ensure were alive before I left out the door.
Gotcha. You have kids too. That's great. Cool, man. I didn't know we can bond over that.
Okay, so we've got a block here. Starstruck and Pulverize. Unity Trigger will make a surge.
Again, can you really use it? This is just vanilla damage here, but like Alan needs to find a way to guarantee damage, or if he says, okay, is it worth trying to sneak some tempo back here? Can I send something remotely disruptive, like I don't know, just a 4-cost attack action?
I believe he just has like 2 regular blues in hand, so I don't think it's in the hand that he's currently holding.
But if you had like a Chokeslam in Arsenal here, so I offer the 1-card block here to sleek 3, maybe send 8 back.
Yeah, a 2-card 8 would be good to recover and be less on the back foot. Force Chris to give 2-3 blocks or a little more.
All
So
right.
it's definitely a blue disable. Okay, he's taking the Anathos swing.
Absolutely, Chad.
Perhaps it is a 2-card play that's worth it over just Anathos.
Let's see. Looks like a disable there in hand. That's probably the pitch fodder. It is.
Okay, he's cracking a gold.
Okay.
Gonna dig off the top.
Speculative play.
Hmm.
It's like, I've taken damage for this. It had better be good. It is not good, judging by the brief shake of the head there.
Mm.
Anthony Pham just trying to recruit him to play another round of Monopoly Go, I think.
Absolutely.
Get over here.
Anthony Pham is a notorious bad influence when he looks at a gold and a Guardian player and says, "You should crack it, bro. What could you draw?"
Yeah. That sounds like him. Crazy brew personified. Here's a CNC.
So he must have drawn that Pulverize, or he already held it in hand.
Well, this doesn't really represent too much. I mean, that's disruptive. Attack the Arsenal, get 2 cards out of your opponent. It's fine.
It's still fairly good.
It puts Chris out of, zealous rouse territory, I guess. Can't be doing those kind of turns with small hands.
I think the assessment that Alan came to is that I shouldn't just give 3 cards and maybe pop one of these golds to send a 2-card Anathos from only starting with 1 blue, but he drew a red, I think, so that would have been a recipe for disaster here.
Look at this guy, True Guardian, staunchly protecting that blue Macho Grande in Arsenal. Love that.
But no, he chose for the 2-card 8 play.
Okay.
The Chokeslam.
Chokeslam here.
Very serviceable.
It allows you to respect the CNC while still maintaining a modicum at least of tempo. It's a non-negligible on-hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 more damage, says Mr. Alan Lube. You can obviously find him on YouTube as well. Great Guardian-focused content, but also does interview a few other players. He's well connected with the NorCal scene as well, so knows a lot of the guys from out there.
Okay.
And always,
Okay. So he had a Zealous that he pocketed.
Okay. So this game here, like Zealous Anathos, seems very reasonable.
I think this is the first turn in a bit that Alan is actually regaining a bit of tempo by presenting 11 here across 3 cards and floating his surge.
Zealous doesn't have a Chris though, so yeah. But now with the life buffer of some sort, there's also an E-strike or a star strike behind that card.
You can never truly rely on this life buffer because, like, another aspect to the mirror here is that your deck is also a life total and resource.
Yep.
You got to keep it healthy. You can't block too much.
Civic here, obviously this is the
This is a fairly safe Civics block, yeah.
this is the prescribed location to send this one. Always on an attack that already has go again, knowing that your opponent is unlikely to produce a 3rd attack action or attack that turn. Get your value while you can get it.
Absolutely.
You don't want to offer it to a Guardian player on their one and only attack action that turn because they may find a way to get value and it could be devastating.
No, absolutely.
Talking to Tyler Horspool at the front, he's like, "Are we sure this Civic Steps is really that good a card? Like, it seems like it gets us trapped so much." I'm like,
I mean, it's good enough to be played in Star of the Show and Living Legends, so that
Yep.
should tell you everything.
tells you everything. I mean, you were hankering for like a 2-block temper pair of legs. You were on Iron Rot before this.
Absolutely.
Or Mage Master, God forbid.
Mage Masters was still solid with Tome.
Okay.
That was like the forced tempo is when you pop Mage Masters for Tome,
Yeah.
gain 5, send the crippling dominated.
Yeah, that was
Good old days.
That's dirty. All right, Anathos would go again. Alan might be asleep. We might need someone just to tap him on the shoulder. Okay, no, wait. I see a flicker of the eyelids. Lucid dreaming.
Now the thing is, given the life total difference that Chris has carved from the back-to-back Rouses and some of the 2-card 8s he threw when Alan didn't have much to respond with, okay, so he's giving
All right.
Zealous an E-Strike. Interesting.
So again, maybe, yeah, that obviously those are 2 avenues in which he can have that 2-wide turn. Bye-bye Quicken Token. Alan has no way to make use of that here. Chris down to 27. I have an E-Strike for 7. That is fine.
Yeah, I didn't see the last card in Chris's hand. I would argue...
It was a triple red hand, right? That's
Oh, okay, that
yeah,
would make
two
more
two
sense.
E-Strikes and a
It's definitely not worth it to keep 2
Zealous.
E-Strikes because it's a... You send the Go Again 1 and then the 7. It's still
12?
the same as blocking and folding.
Yeah.
Like, you're not reinventing the Flesh and Blood wheel here.
Yeah. Sometimes better value to be found on defense. It's on rate, I guess, in 12.
And I think another micro decision is that he decided to block with his Zealous and say, I don't want this in my pitch stack to bite me when
Yeah,
Alan
all
is
these
trying to
reds.
carve more of my life total and cards away.
He still obviously still has a Zealous and a E-Strike pitched together. So oh no, wait. So you block with it? Excuse me. Block with both of them. So there's no pitching whatsoever. Actually, just threw that E-Strike.
No, just things sinking cards.
Macho looks like a Thunderquake potentially there.
And another CNC.
Okay. Facing down, just an Anathos here. Alan wanting to get back on Arsenal here. I guess I'm stressing here in Alan's position because at some point I'm just going to have to take it. Maybe some of these vanilla damage turns, these sort of Zealous-esque lines, but I'm already behind a bit on life. Chris takes damage there though. You make use of your life buffer here. It's another resource available to you. That's Is that bacon lettuce tomato going to the pitch zone?
There we go.
Get that macho out. 8 dominate.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's a red macho. Yeah, that's a red color strip.
All right.
But this is pretty good because despite the fact that Alan has secured an arsenal, he might not be able to use every card in hand. And at the end of it, Chris is still securing an arsenal, has crown up, both players do.
Is red macho 8?
Red macho is a 10.
10.
The red macho is in his pitch zone.
Ah, gotcha, yeah.
Because I was also thinking, Chris might represent pummel here on a macho blue.
Yeah.
Which
That
is
makes sense.
evasive damage and a pummel on top of that. But
Pretty scary.
I think he looked at the hand and went, okay, I need to clear this. I'll pitch one macho to the other, send some evasive damage.
Does Alan keep his... does he keep these D-reacts in his Bravo list here?
He's absolutely playing most of them.
Yeah, okay. Which is just a sinks and 1 fate.
2 blue unmovables, though.
Okay.
Which is, kind of the old style of Bravo.
Yeah.
But Alan's definitely a fan of it.
No staunches in this list. Neither of them. We did see some staunch gaming earlier today. All right. You can have a buckling blow.
That's in fact all I can give you. Oh, okay. The 1 fate comes out.
Here it is, a little opt.
And I don't think Chris is too unhappy to be seeing that because it's raw damage and it's under rate because it's the blue. So that's 1 D-react that's not going to be for the red one he just put in his pitch stack.
Okay. Get those out of the way first cycle.
Oh, and here we see a golden sun.
No gold, because Chris can't win clashes to save his life.
Remake Surge, send 6, pocket the arsenal.
What else is in here? We got a Zealous opener. We do have some blues here. Okay, not a lot though. We got a yellow and a red in hand. I think that was maybe a red debilitate. squinting. Screen.
Oh, blocking with the Golden Sun. Okay. Interesting.
Are we overpitching to Anathos here?
Very interesting. Oh, I see. He's, instead of pocketing or Pommy, using his Golden Sun to turn on Zealous, because you can still Anathos after with the blue. He has instead opted to remake Surge, just like Alan did, send CNC. Pressure the arsenal once more.
Still going to be respected here.
Mm.
Stately match. Sometimes pace really represents the that exuded by the Oldham on Chris's sleeves. A little glacial. But these players, again, these Guardian matchups can definitely go this way at times.
Victor for Solana is only a stone's throw from Arya and Oldham, so staying within the class, staying within the world.
Yeah. Where the hell's Bravo from?
He's also from Arya,
Okay, there you go.
the first Arya border.
Who isn't from Arya? They're all from Arya, right?
Yoji is Volcor, Betsy is the Pits,
The Pits, that's right.
Victor is Solana.
Represented, of course, by the border on the card that indicates the character's origin, which is something we sort of started to learn a little bit further on. When like young Uzuri has a different border than
Mysteria border.
than old Uzuri, which is a fun little teaser at the backstory because there's nothing really to indicate Uzuri's origin. But
Interesting. So we have a tip for a tap, both sending blue machos, but Alan managed to secure his and send it with a surge, which is a good efficient play.
Yep.
3-card 8 with evasion. Chris, I'm remaking surge.
he's like, can I do this? First of all, create my seismic surge.
Very.
Back on the Zealous plan. All right.
Go.
And we're off. Once again, Alan says, oh, am I blocking again?
Oh, he narrowed his eyes and had a bit of a furrowed brow there.
This could just be eyelids fluttering during REM sleep. It's hard to say at this point. All right. Yep. Again, this is the prescribed moment for the civic steps to get involved. Chris will get a completely superfluous quicken token.
Maybe not superfluous.
Really?
With E-Strike, you can choose draw a card.
Ah, okay.
Send an Anathos on the swing.
That is fun.
Follow up as well.
Draw a card. Yeah, you get a blue off the card draw. Anathos? Oh, you're gaming. Holy. That's wild.
The cogs are beginning to turn.
Yeah,
for
yeah, I'm
Guardian
seeing the
man.
lights. Oh, God help me. I've got that Victor deck sleeve. Marcus, don't make me do it, mate.
You should absolutely play him if you enjoy like a bit of a simpler, but like by no means less fun or less interactive Guardian.
Oh, I actually enjoy, like, I enjoy the idea of leaving an army without my grey matter pouring out my ears. So might give that a crack. 8 here, following up the Zealous Belting. Debilitate again. It's irrelevant on hit. Shrinking Alan's first attack by -2 if this crush effect gets through. It is frustrating. All of a sudden, your cards are just not nearly as valuable. None of them look good at all. CNC for 4, maybe? I think not. All that 2-card 8's now 2-card 6. Atrocious.
It's actually fairly good here because Chris had a bit of a rough time in his early game, saw all 3 test of strengths flip to each other, lost the clashes, but that 1 gold didn't really help Alan apart from filtering. Giving a crippling here, taking 2.
All right.
But, Chris...
That's 2 cripplings down.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Civics go back where they belong, on the feet.
Okay, I think I see Zealous and blue unmovable from Alan. Yep, hammer for 4.
Okay, pocket the Zealous. Alan had not living the dream. He is in the slow lane.
You can
Right
see
now.
what I mean about the Guardian that's like in the commanding position.
Yeah.
You're doing more of the go again attacks.
And it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the small differences between these heroes and playstyles or even deck composition necessarily. They're relatively similar. Chris just happened to find a better draw up here and put himself
Exactly
that
that.
tempo advantage. That first cycle variance, they talk about it.
I think, yeah, the consideration of the block of Golden Sun is mainly because Chris lost all Nearly. He lost 2 out of 3 tester streams.
I mean-
So the Golden Sun isn't so relevant.
The
to
Bank
him
of
in this
Victor's
matchup.
off the gold standard, mate. They're just printing money now. That's like Papa Powell up in the Fed, just brrr, inflation, baby. Forget about your overpower. How about this? How about 12 card 7? How's that feel? Yeah, good, right? Well, it's even worse than Zimbabwe, so deal with it.
If you won a Zimbabwe dollar, one exact Zimbabwe dollar off your tester strength, could you cash it in to send the Golden Sun?
So-
Or would you get like Brass Sun,
Yeah, you'd get, I don't know, you get
Tin Sun?
Fisher Price son, you know what I mean? Little kids mobile. At least it plays a soothing tune. That will really put Alan to sleep. Then Chris is in the driver's seat, baby. He's taking it all the way. I mean, do we have a tap out rule? Like, how long does my opponent get to wake up?
Oh,
Like, do we get to try and...
how was your top 8 game? Oh, you know, my opponent fell asleep.
Yeah, I need Justin to slide in there like the ring ref, like 1, 2, 3, and then out. You know what I mean? You can hold Chris's hand aloft as he reaches his endgame fantasy as Victor Goldmane.
Justin would need to whisper it to not wake Alan.
That's true. I don't know. I might say more than that.
3. Yeah, he's out.
Think of I mean, I don't know. You might be struggling to get Alan to work. Yeah, hi, bro. I get it, Alan. I'm in there, bro. Hey, you're gaming, dog. Think about it. You could be working. You could be shouldering the pickaxe, clocking on, clocking off. You could be working an honest life. No, it's a Saturday, baby. Live it up. You're in LA, Bayside. Come on.
I think to have a silver lining on this hand, Chris is sending just a blue. He did get to Float Surge and remake it.
Yeah.
But Cranial Crush isn't so impactful because drawing cards in your action phase.
Not really.
The only thing that's relevant in this matchup would be a Showtime, which isn't out on the field, or the gold here. So Alan is probably free to give another 2 cards, but we saw him pocket the Zealous. So
yeah, he might want to just try and make something happen there.
the decision point is probably, can he play the Zealous with his hand? And does he want the... Oh, okay. Well, he's spoken for us. He took the whole 8. He's under Cranial Crush.
The answer is yes. We are going for it here.
He got his head squeezed by Valda. What can he make with it?
A great OnlyFans account.
Oh, I see a pummel here.
Here it is, Zealous Belting. Is there LL points given at AGE events? Only for our PTI events, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
no.
this is not technically...
This is not a...
This is not a tier 3 or above event.
That's right. Yeah, not for this one. But again, we have Phuket going on in the background. All right, Zealous Belting gets to come out. Alan trying to go for some of those wider turns.
I think this is one of his last Hail Marys he has, considering how much of his life total he's basically bargained with and just taken on the chin.
Yep.
He took a whole spinal. He took a whole cranial. It's go big or go home against Victor, I guess.
The equipment's kind of broken up now. We're getting to the point where those dominate cards, like this, the Machos, generally are quite powerful. Forget about Golden Sun. We already had that meandering discussion. Where I got to...
He's going to pummel.
Pummeling this... Okay.
Discarding a Golden Sun.
Yep.
Chris is going to take a 9. Full to the same life total. Anathos will move in for 6.
Okay, now we've... Again, there's a surge here for Chris, so being able to deploy that sort of 2-card 8 on the table.
Absolutely.
You wish, though? What? Who are you going to LL, DT? It's a different... You play a different hero every week. Who knows who's going to LL? Mate, not even you do.
I think Anthony needs to spend another 2 months on Thea Hatchets alone and then come back to us when he's learned.
That's it.
That deck.
You need to learn what pod racing feels like. Here you go. Here's your 8 on your choke slam. Taco's points. Yeah, Taco's points. We got Tacos.
Although Chris looked like he took just a complete slapping from Alan here, who took a gamble on hand, he's still sending back the 2-card 8, cashing in the surge.
I think, like, I can see why Alan keeps those cards now, right? I mean, being able to add pummel into the mix there is just, it's a very good reason to sort of get crushed there, especially on a really less effect. So that lined up, rather, a less oppressive effect for this Bravo. So Alan got to be feeling good about that. This is still Chris, though, threatening to leak some damage. We're getting to the part of the game where, like, these kind of attack actions ask for more than just 2 cards, just on virtue of trying to keep your life up. But Alan's off Arsenal.
Absolutely.
Doesn't really want to send a mopey 4 with Anathos back.
He's been doing a lot of it. That's just how the game played out for him. He's at a scary life total where, like, even that last crippling, he might not even be able to live to see it, let alone, like, cast it.
Yeah. All right.
But he does have another sigil in his list, so if he gets far enough, he can bluff the lethal like a certain Pro Tour champion.
Okay, 2-card block. Let's leak some.
Go to 6.
Alan had the life buffer and still maintains the lead at this next cycle. Chris off Arsenal. Anathos here for 4 and pocketing a sink below. All right, that's pretty crucial.
Actually, both players with sink belows in hand. Chris is opting to use his offensively.
It's deceptive, but there's actually a lot of armor block left for both players here. 5.
Remake Surge, send Anathos.
Okay. Okay. This is where this gets a bit less comfortable, though. Might be checking Chris's graveyard. I mean, we might be tracking pummels here if you're Alan.
Okay, now we have a Rouse in Alan's hand, but he's looked down at this board state and thought,
Yeah, Chris
my
is
life total is not high enough for this.
Chris is representing pummel, pure and simple. And at this kind of life total, if you only give like 1 card, for example,
There's
you're dead.
There's Rouse. I thought I saw another Zealous in there. The sync can definitely help if that is pummel from Chris, because Alan gets to play at reaction speed still. He's just probably worried that, oh, I'm taking raw damage to Anathos.
Yeah.
I don't want to be chipped by this because when it comes to another, 2-card 8 or anything else that uses a surge, well, that's going to chip me even more, and I can't afford to play around that point.
Just giving a sink doesn't play around pummel at all.
No. He does have just as much armor as Chris does, but
Yeah, I mean, I wondered like what role these Crowns of Providence are going to play at this really late stage of the game, right? Going up on a card seems huge, especially if you're Bravo and just want to kind of dominate something.
I wonder if the gold factors into that equation, given that Alan has held onto it. Because he can crown, he can search just 1 card more with the gold. Maybe with that floating resource, he can send the last crippling and not have to block with it. But he's thinking it over, mulling it.
Just the pure.
Okay, so that's a Zealous. So he's got 2 blocks in hand.
Oof.
And they don't play well with each other unless you keep a 6 or better blue.
You're asking Alan to keep a lot of cards here.
So if he had a pummel coming at him, he'd be chipped 7 if he doesn't give the sink or any armor. So
I assume we've seen. Did Chris pummel at Anathos at any point during this game? Maybe was that Alan?
Alan did.
Alan did. Okay,
He was clearing an arsenal. He was using his sigil properly. Basically clearing out the junk from his garage.
Yep.
In that first cycle.
All right. Yep. Here we go. We're dumpster diving now just to see what is left in the deck. We're looking for pummels here.
With open deck lists, we've got all the information that we can make assessments from.
Okay, no pummels in the yard. That's a scary prospect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The odds of seeing one of those have just increased precipitously, whether on this turn cycle or the next.
It might seem like a waste to give Gauntlet's last block here on this chain link, but it could just keep Alan in this.
Yep.
If he plays around pummel, and that ends up being the reality here.
Again,
So he's got Thunk.
it doesn't represent any disruption if it's on Anathos here. The raw damage, it matters. Very relevant, especially if Alan plays around it, still eats a pummel, drops to, a couple of life, giving that equipment. That's something that you sort of can't get back once those machos start calling. But yeah,
Okay,
looks
here
like
we
he called
go.
it.
I think he's definitely considering the Zealous, because he wants to return the raw damage, pressure life total.
3 block here on
he's
6.
only given 3. You hate to give a Rouse on blocks.
Yeah. It's not where you want to be. 3 block here. This would shrink the Anathos down to a potential 9 because of those
was
gauntlets.
pummeled, yes, indeed.
So that means with the sink as well, Alan is only taking 2 damage. Chris
says no reactions.
No reactions. Throw the sink.
Interesting.
Clearing Arsenal, perhaps?
He could be.
Right. Staying safe, that's for sure. Alan, take no damage from that one. And hey, still 3 cards to work with. That's fine. Make a surge.
There we go.
Zealous belting.
Oh, I see why it was. This is a very rough hand to have, given that it was 3 2-blocks. 2 Rouse, 1 Zealous, and the Thunk.
Thunk's 2-block, right?
No,
No, it's a 3-block.
Thunk's a 3.
3-block, yeah. But it's the
Zealous and Rouse are the 2 blocks, but given that you want one of those in hand and like 3 blocks in blues, you really don't want to be holding 3 2-blocks that you want to send.
Yep. But here is like it's a Zealous Anathos follow-up. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's very reasonable. Sending 11 damage here. With Chris at such a low life total, absolutely puts Alan in a position now to come up with something even bigger on the next turn cycle. Chris obviously kind of knows here he has to block 7 of this, of this turn. That's asking for some armor now, unless he has a defense reaction to play with.
I think given this is only a 3-card hand again, similar story to the other Zealous that Alan had to put out, that Chris is probably pretty comfortable to give his Civics last block, deny any value from the possible Quicken. I think actually...
Yes.
Oh no, Alan is playing 3 E-Strikes, so he's similar to the ratios that Chris is on.
Okay. Just so you know, our other finalist will be Tyler Horspool on Dash.io. He has made it through
Impressive.
that last match against, was it Katsu, I think, managed to overcome Fuzzy Delp in order to win that game. Congrats to Tyler Horspool. Great to see him back on top here at AGE. It's been a while, Tyler. Just putting you out there, buddy.
I think he'll appreciate it when he watches the cast back, definitely.
You think he's watching this mirror? There's no way. Hope he's going to teach kids how to
I think
do stuff.
I think he's watching for Chris's sake. There's probably something to learn here.
In solidarity, perhaps. All right, here it is. Yeah, like you said, look. I mean, with 1 card, you can't threaten an E-Strike.
It's incredibly face up, yes.
Yep. Oh,
Whether Chris will give any more.
Oh, would you go to 1?
You could if you think you can finish Alan off here.
Yeah, and you also know that Anathos won't present a break point, so
Exactly.
you don't have to give us 2 cards. Are you going to do 2 cards in Arsenal? Okay, with a surge up.
He also
Macho
holds a
territory?
pommel. The thing is here, Chris is on a surge turn, and he's got pommel and spinal.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, but he has Zealous.
Sync
Okay.
to send the Zealous away.
He's sending the Zealous away.
We want to just kind of go
Blue?
tall and
He
Yeah,
found it.
looks like
I
a
think that's
blue.
a blue disable. And then, I think he's considering just giving the rest of the fridge here.
I mean, what is he? I guess he's worried about running into. What could he be worried about running into here, really? I mean, I guess like a sink to keep Alan's life total up, and
Basically, he's basically putting all his eggs in one basket because he gives us the rest of the armor suite. He relies on this pummeled spinal coming over with 13. That's a very tall number when you're at single-digit lives. And taking a card for sure away from Alan.
this is the part of the game where you consider playing around the pummel when it's such a tall attack already. That spinal. Crown of
Absolutely.
Providence.
And it's like the only feasible way that Chris is going to close this out is with coming over with pummels because he gave every Golden Sun barring 1 for blocks.
Yep.
And his test of strength value didn't come through. Yeah.
Okay,
Goes to
buddy.
1.
Keep the 4-carder. That is absolutely terrifying. And this is the wind-up here now for Chris Iaali. Can he finish off Alan Hoang and send the Luba Nation into an absolute existential spiral?
Here we go.
Bada bing, baby.
2 float, 1 card. What does this mean?
More damage than you can block, senor.
However, Alan, as a seasoned Guardian player, does not flinch looking at this.
Yeah. But now we definitely have to go back into the tank. Though in the booth right now feels more like an ice bath. Keeping it fresh. They're all SoCal vibes, you know. Don't talk to any SoCal people for the next week, by the way, because we have rain. So that's all we're going to talk to you about. Like, do you know how effed up it is there's raining in California? And then we'll go and tell you about how we pay taxes to have good weather. Because apparently, you know, our CPA has a direct line to God. And really just balances out all things. Yeah, just stay away from Californians for the next few days. We're not going to be that pleasant to talk to.
Come the summer, some people
We don't
will
count,
miss the
though.
rain.
We don't count.
We don't count.
Do you consider yourself Californian?
Um,
Do you really want to associate yourself with this rabble, just quietly?
yeah.
I mean, these
It's great fun to play Fab here. I have people that respect Pummel. I have people that know what Pummel does in this country.
That's right. Oh, that is right. Yeah, I mean, we're in the right hemisphere for some people to perhaps miss the subtext on certain attack reactions, but not on the right.
Talking about Razor Reflex?
Oh yes, that one. Yes, that one. Yeah, I haven't seen that in quite a while actually. Yeah.
This is the
Talking
weaker
about Stroke of Foresight. Actually.
Ah.
Yeah. Absolute classic. All right. Does Alan need a Chipotle Ivy drip stat?
Oh,
Get
no.
my guy some sustenance. He is flagging. We'll just put it in the food processor, mate. Looks the same. Way in, way out. All good. It's all about nutrition.
So, if we think about the raw numbers on this block,
Oh, tell me about the numbers, Mark. Tell me the raw numbers.
the 2-card block of 6 doesn't cut it.
Yep.
On its own. Hence Crown,
And tech plating.
because that's a perfect 9.
Yeah, with 2 cards.
So Alan is at peace and is basically asking Chris, hey, if you pummel, you're taking that chance again that I have a sink below or something 0 cost. Or even a sigil to just say, hey, I got no card to discard to pummel.
Yeah.
I've gained 3 life.
And
Ball
then-
is back in your court.
Problem is sending a Anathos 4 back after having to discard. Kind of just gets some equipment block from Chris. We go on with our lives. He just gives a card and equipment and is able to play off 3. So
Exactly.
still in a pretty strong spot. Thinking about this 6 block. And by the way, we're assuming that the pummel is even a factor here.
It is a tough spot as well because given that it wasn't there for the Anathos swing that Chris made on a couple turns ago, now that it is here on an attack action card, Alan's kind of missing that Gauntlets of Iron Will block here.
I will say, though, that if Alan can keep 2 cards, there it is. Okay, here's
Not
the
gonna
pummel.
happen.
Alan takes it. So he's played around it perfectly.
Discards a blue disable.
But I would say an Anathos for 6 would ask for 2 cards from Chris no matter what. Here, the 4.
Now, we do have something that Alan might play as an out because he has his gold.
Okay.
He's going to do it.
Yeah,
This is
all
the
right.
out. What do we do? Can we draw a blue?
Here it is.
Oh.
130. Oh, it's just spectacular. Alan gets a 6-powered Anathos and not a 4. Chris has to give him 2 cards. That is huge. If you just send 4 here, Chris plays off a 3-card hand. He can do a heck of a lot. Man, I'm awake now. Hello. Yeah, I mean, Chubbadunkus picks it out. And God, keep those names coming, by the way. Big fan.
Oh no.
Wait a minute.
Oh, hang on.
He was crushed.
Oh, yes. He
was
forgot
crushed.
about this. He could not make this play.
He can't make a
I
surge.
don't know why we uttered this.
Oh, no.
We're bad at flesh and blood.
Oh, goodness. So he can pitch to the tech plating, but that's all he could do for his turn.
Exactly. No, he
Oh,
popped
no, the gold.
He
The
popped
gold,
his
excuse me.
gold.
Oh.
He'd only be able to arsenal the card or just have it sit in hand.
Oh, goodness. Okay, we might just rewind that just a touch here. But Alan has already seen the card off the gold. So in theory, he probably has to at least have done that. That would kill his turn and give Chris 4 cards to belt him around the face. Oh. Chabanakis, I was on the same line as you, but I forgot that Spinal Crush.
No, we were all looking at that out, but yeah, Spinal
And there
Crush,
was-
relevant
there was-
text.
Yeah, there was no gauntlets, man. No gauntlets to bring it below crush threshold by pummeling that attack. So, okay, we have a surge. I'm assuming here that Connor is just
See, the thing is,
Pulls him back by his
I
collar
think his
here.
first game action was first to crack the gold, see what's drawn, because you're not in the clear to, if you're not under Spinal here, make a swing
okay.
if you've drawn a red.
But we are doing this thing anyway. Apparently, we are sending Anathos for 6. So
I think Connor ruled it so that they've already progressed past that
yeah,
game
he's seen a
state.
card, right? And it wasn't picked up by Chris as well. Damn. So we have UK Pummel and SoCal Gold token?
Oh, no. No, we should not ram that one home to Alan.
Okay. Well, Chris gave 2, so he sends an Anathos back of his own. So we've allowed the game to proceed as if Alan wasn't crushed. Okay, that is a very fortunate turn of events for him.
So now we're actually at basically a parity. The only difference, well, I don't know if you can even say the only difference, because we've got 2 armor on the side of Chris in 2 pieces of equipment, but only 1 armor for Alan. However, Alan is on 1 higher life.
Right.
So it's basically
we're
the same. Both are presenting a surge.
Didn't crush because of gauntlets? I don't think gauntlets were involved in that block. Oh, well. They were, no? Or was it?
No, gauntlets were given on that Anathos swing
Right.
several turns ago.
Yeah, so gauntlets weren't involved in that block. Okay. Chris going to draw up there after sending Anathos. We are both just sending Anathos for 6 for the time being.
Okay.
Where do we find a window to keep an extra card here?
It's basically just finding the next 2-card 8 for
Okay,
some
yep.
of these.
That's big. Yeah, to ask for 3. That's exactly right. Put your opponent down to Anathos for 4 territory, which can be sort of ignored to some
Or
degree.
perhaps, this came up in my Swiss, Chris has Clash of Vigor in hand.
Okay.
If he could give that while he's got a Surge up,
Means
send
he
a
can have a-
Spinal, or even a Blue Disable, that's 7. That's better than 6.
All right. Well, Alan, I think, wins the clash there. Oh, that's huge.
Oh my goodness.
The rich get richer. Vigor token now for Alan Hoang. Okay. Here comes Anathos in once more. But Alan can deploy, yeah, like a 4-cost, 8 power attack action here off a 2-card hand.
Big Link 13, you were correct. It was head and chest. Alan did not have Gauntlets of Iron Will available for that Spinal Pummel block.
Yeah, missed trigger.
He had already spent them.
It's fine. It's tough to cover. SoCal Gold is instant speed, fast money. Yeah, we got pawn shops in every corner around here, bro. That's the way it go.
It's a crown of seeds that I can pay with at the shop.
Yeah, Bitcoin could never.
Crown of coin.
All right, 2 cards. But that doesn't mean anything. Alan could be sending an 8 power here.
He could be sending a Spinal, but
Choke slam. Make a surge with the 1 floating. Okay. Are we going to do that? We might not.
yeah, make Surge with your Vigor resource.
Chris is like, put me out of my misery, sir.
I'll make a resource.
Okay, there it
okay.
is.
This is even worse for Chris, because not only did he give the resource for Alan to float the Surge, but he's also sent a 2-card 8 with it in return as well. Pretty huge. It might demand his armor block here.
Ooh, getting that at this point of the game is so big.
Actually, here we have something I was saying about. Chris holds a Spinal. If he can win 1 clash right here and his armor suite, he sends a 2-card 9.
All right. We like that. Here's the test of Vigor. Clash of Vigor, excuse me.
Got to be Chris's lucky day here.
All
Has
right,
to be
Macho Red off the
There we
top.
go.
Now we're cooking, baby.
There's the 2-card 9.
Chris's hand gets unlocked in a big way. Vigor token. Yes, he's given up the arm in order to make this happen, but it's done its job now. With Alan at 2,
Here
this
we
is
go.
non-negligible. Here we go.
2-card 9. And he's got guaranteed Dominate on the way in the next hand.
Yep. Alan knows that Macho is on its way in.
I think Alan's out here. I just glanced at the hand. He has a blue unmovable. He might have to just Arsenal pass.
Oh, that would end the game.
Chris might get cocky and think, okay.
Yeah, again.
Macho Red seals it, and Alan's like,
Yeah, can get out of that.
we got to play this hand first. Alan's got to think it over.
Approaching the hour mark here in this absolute slobber knocker of a Guardian Mirror.
That is quite a word, slobber knocker.
Yeah, no, stick around, man. Plenty of those where that came from. That's Bush League, baby. I just wanted to make Christine laugh. That's all I'm really trying to do.
Oh, I cracked a gold and was under Spinal. She'll be right.
Yep. Yeah, no dramas, mate. No dramas.
Bogan gold, as they say.
No whacking forries, as Alice likes to say. All right. Let's get our civic steps in here.
I think it was because Chris Pummels weren't cold foil.
Okay, here we go. That's crippling, the
Oh.
last one, and the overpower deployed for this one.
Interesting. I think I know his rationale for this block. So, though Alan has given his last piece of armor too, he will get to hammer still. And hammer's still a break point because
still
Chris
2
is at
cards. It's a good time to have that now after Chris has given up that armor. What is Macho? Red Macho, 7?
1. Red Macho is a 10.
Rather, 7 cost. Is it?
Yes, it is.
So no surge here for Chris. Either way, we'd have to give 2 cards, so that dream is kind of dead, but might just have a
Very unfortunate.
4, an Athos for 4, and put Alan in the same conundrum in Arsenal.
Yeah, clash here. Oh,
Oh, buddy. Vigor token for Alan.
Vigan here.
Man, how many clashes has Chris won? 1? 1! Oh, it's rough.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
saw a
It's a
thunk.
thunk.
Oh, I think there's a judge calling here. Oh,
No.
it shouldn't matter that Clash has revealed the thunk for Chris, because Alan did not reveal a thunk. Okay, there we go.
Red Macho into the pitch here. This gives you
Absolutely.
a nice little 6 here on the Athos. Still, Alan positioned to... Oh, that's a trick slam in hand here, so I might be able to send that.
I can't tell if it's a blue one or a red.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah.
Alan's on 3 reds,
We've seen at least
but
2.
interestingly, he doesn't have debilitate, but Chris does.
Our timer doesn't go above an hour, folks. Sorry.
No, we're just lapsing into the next one.
All right.
Okay, remake Surge.
Surge with
I
that
think.
figure.
Or
Is that another unmovable?
yeah, he's got another blue unmovable, so that's his second copy. He's
Yeah.
gonna pitch it away.
Okay. Send it.
It's interesting.
4 is as good as 6 here, though. It's just as good. Asks for the same number of cards, and it's still...
I think that's another red chokeslam for Chris.
Okay, I think Alan wants to pocket that one. He still has that Surge made, so what? Can block an 8 power, still send a chokeslam of his own here if he's able to Arsenal it?
He can, yes, actually.
Okay. And Chris blocks with a blue chokeslam. I think that was blue, yeah. Okay, just 2
No.
blues.
No, we didn't. I didn't quite see the color strip
Okay.
properly from the hand riffling. Nope.
All right.
Still Anathos for Anathos.
Yeah, obviously Alan has the ability to close games. I mean, Bravo has built-in dominate.
Only 4 blacks are left in the decks. I think Chris has maybe 1 sink below. He spent a couple. He spent all of Testa's strengths. I think Alan might have 1 or 2 left in there. You just saw him pitch away a blue unmovable, so he's got that there.
Alan gets to keep sort of playing off Arsenal here.
Yes, he does.
Playing on Arsenal, rather. With a Surge token helping him keep a card over. That's important. Unless he wants to keep making more Surges where that becomes a bit more difficult.
It's definitely... You definitely weigh the Surge more at single digit and, you know, no less 5 or less health, because as we've seen, 1 Surge can make all the difference depending on who it's popping for.
Rouse the Ancients in
What's
the hand.
Rouse? Is it another blue or is it something more impactful? You can tell I'm a bit more invested in the game state now because I've leant forward.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Got my
definitely...
elbows on the table.
How many cards these guys have left? I think Chris has a few more to work with. Alan, because he was on, I guess, the receiving end here of the tempo game, offering sort of, 12 block for a couple of turn cycles, might just be behind. And that's to say nothing of how many cards these two present at the start of the game.
I was going to say it matters entirely about how much either player wanted to fat deck the other, because sometimes there's some contention in Guardian Discords about that, like playing too many, playing too little, finding a nice in-between, a nice middle ground. Does look like another blue.
Oh, no, the Victor Discord's pretty based, actually. That's a decent bunch in there. All right. make no mistake, folks, there's a fair bit on the line here. Well, it's $1,000 prize pool here, but also both these players really want to get themselves cemented at the top of our AGE standings here. To be with a shot at the Players' Championship, of course, which is a huge event now. Obviously, the PTI on offer. It's really something that these two want to try and secure. Getting those 30 circuit points here puts them right into the top standing. Still early in the year, so great way to really get out to a nice lead.
I think if Alan at least makes it to second place, he's got a good standing for the rest of our circuit.
Chris has been playing OTK Viz in Bolton, so less so. He'll get there.
Don't mention Bolton
I mean,
to him.
dude, I want to bring up the Nathan Crawford match in the Arclight League where he got absolutely spanked by about 7 Dawnblade counters. Just got drawn and quartered. Very satisfying. All right, we are laying our hands down here. Is it?
Oh, I see. Is he sending it dominated and remaking Surge? Because he's got 2 blues.
Yeah, can do that, right?
Is that it?
Just. Well, we're just showing you. I'll show you yours if you show me mine. I guess he's like, or might be conceding. Maybe Alan feels like he doesn't have the cards.
No, he's down to like the last hand and 1 card. So Chris actually did fatigue him by damage.
Yeah, there we go.
Or, I don't know.
We're going to get a confirmation from the table here.
Justin needs to clarify.
Just for a moment here. But both players just fanned their hands there. But yeah, Alan, obviously, with not a whole lot to work with, his issue might be that...
I was under the impression that Chris had drawn up, had his full hand, waiting for Alan's tank, what he's going to do.
Anticlimactic, Big Link? I mean, tell you what, me more than anyone else bricked up for a gigantic finish or dominate end of the game. But that's not always the way it goes, big fella. Could also be like, Chris sitting on a macho waiting for it to come through. But yeah, I think just dominate the...
Yeah, just any dominate works because Chris is out of armor. He has no reaction in hand.
So it costs... Yeah, I mean, that should we do, right? Cost 6 to dominate a 4 cost. You have the Surge, so yeah. I think that's right.
He's even doing it incredibly efficient.
Represent your game actions, boys!
He is remade Surge. He is ideally dominated. He sent Chokeslam Blue from Arsenal dominated. Yep. 6 dominate, will bleed 3. Chris is done.
Yep. All right. Okay, when our producer walks in. Okay.
You got it.
We're pretty sure Alan won that game. We'll cut to break and... Oh, okay, sorry. Alan did not win that game.
Oh.
Can I say that? Yeah, Alan conceded. He conceded the game there. Felt like he just didn't have enough gas to get the game done. Wanted to keep things going. So Chris Iaali not only dragged, kicking and screaming through another hour-long Guardian game, but said, guess what? You get to go and do it again, bozo. Don't even get up from the table. I'm bringing Tyler right over here, right now. I'm bringing out a luchador mask. We've got a whole closet of these outfits for him. Right? You're going to have to look him dead in the eye while he plays Dash.io on you. How does that feel? All right. Great to be here, Marcus. Pleasure. I mean, great game.
Yeah, it was.
I think you got your reps well and truly here. Long match here, but great to see Chris Iaali, I mean, for so many reasons, ironic and otherwise, advancing to the grand finals of our AGE April Open. We'll be back. What do you mean, not again? No, they didn't represent Bryce. They didn't represent any of the game actions, buddy.
Not again,
I can't get in trouble for this when the players don't follow protocol, mate. Even our director doesn't know what happened.
I think he conceded because of the spinal. That might be right, Trent.
The spinal play? Yeah. All right. Appreciate that. So, okay, yeah.
Sportsmanship.
He definitely conceded. So, Chris Iaali wins that game. Lubers on the way down. Hate to see that. I'm going to get therapy for like 5 minutes. We'll come back. We'll get our grand final on the way. Don't miss it, of course. A lot on the line here. The $400 plus 30 circuit points here at your AGE April Open. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everybody, to the pointy end here of AG Open for April. I'm back in the booth here with Michael Murray. Had a chance to scope out the room.
Yeah.
And we have a bit of like an explanation, I guess, of what kind of happened. I think it might have been put in chat as well. But in that previous game, obviously there was technically an illegal game action taken where Alan was under the effects of Spinal Crush, still pitched to create a seismic surge, and then attacked, which, you know, can't do. But because the trigger was missed, it was ruled as allowed, and we played on. Alan gets towards a turn where he can sort of, you know, dominate a 6-power attack in his arsenal, says, you know, I've got the constituents here, but I'm going to choose to concede because I feel like that one decision really swung the game in the other direction. So effectively gave Chris Iaali the win there, allowing our reluctant Guardian to continue to plod on his intrepid journey through our top 8. And now we'll be facing close friend, and previous teammate Tyler Horspool in the final. Yeah, the little victor that could, has just been getting it done all day long. Now going up against Dash.io.
Yep, and I got to watch the Dash versus Katsu matchup previously, and it was close. It came down to 4 cards in deck for the Dash.io, and he was searching for that last final point of damage. The Katsu kept blocking 4 cards turn after turn, 5 turns in a row. He just kept giving the 4 cards and wasn't able to close it out until the very end. Very clutch closeout from Tyler Horspool. Almost didn't make it.
And that's a very respectable third, fourth place for Fuzzy Delp here with another top 8 in an AGE Open on Katsu this time. So we saw him falter briefly in one of the earlier matches, but it's been able to recover beautifully. And that's a great showing for him. Big shout out, of course, to the Pitch to Me podcast, of course, that he's part of. They make great little tokens as well, like the Vigor, Might, and Agility tokens. So we have our final ready for you guys. So let's waste no time. Let's jump into it here. It's going to be Tyler Horspool on Dash.io up against Chris Iaali on a Victor Goldmane, High and Mighty. These players, of course, both play out of the same store out in Riverside, Top Deck Keep. Now, Chris has moved on to join the AGE Pro team, but obviously still quite a camaraderie between him and Tyler. 2 players that know each other very well. Chris is going to be on the Auromagus Titan's Fist game plan against this Dash.io. Look at, we have a balance of justice here for Tyler. I think that's probably the only headpiece to sort of work with here. But of course, Victor's not going to be drawing too many extra cards on his turn.
On the off chance that he cracks 2 golds in one turn, it is possible to get some value off of that.
That's
so
true.
It may be the only headpiece he's bringing, or it may actually be a choice to say you can't do that.
All right. Yeah, again, that's. I think Tyler was sort of saying, he feels like, if he's like on tome, for example, he needs to play 3 tomes if his opponent has a balance to sort of, get that advantage there because it sort of evens the playing field. We're going to open up with a peek at the top here. Tyler already knows what that card is, so the fuel injector is going to come into play. That will, of course, give him a resource should he ever need it and go back onto the bottom of the deck. So available for later use, can fuel one of those -IO activations.
Yeah, and I love the pitching of the high octane early on, setting up for second cycle, so he's got a lot of gas to close the game if he needs it when it gets around.
It's going to be important. We talked about how he went in that previous Katsu game. We're just able to find enough damage to get over the line. Very important to maintain that density of attack actions in the deck whilst you're fiddling around with all your items.
Yeah, second cycle is definitely going to happen in this game.
Of course, we have our sippy cup there for Tyler with some mystical elixir that allows him to see all 9 billion realities.
Or at least the top of his deck.
Yeah, that too. 9 here. It's going to be a straight-up spinal crush from Chris Iaali. Pretty important to turn off that go again on a dash player, and Tyler respects it. Actually has the cards to block here. And he will... Okay, trade 1 fuel injector in for another. At least he gets positive on those symbiosis shot counters.
Yep, it's good to build those up because when you hit that high octane turn, you want to have as many counters as possible. Make sure you can go wide.
Thank you, Mauricio. Yeah, we'll have that corrected. -IO as at 36. And we'll, of course, have our shield deployed here by Tyler Horspool. Our dissolving shield, that is. No crank. I'm going to just get it out there. Help to cover up some of this damage incoming from our Guardian. Mage Master Boots here for the dash as well.
Yeah, that's a really interesting choice by Tyler. I think we talked about it earlier, but I've never seen a Mage Master Boots on a -IO before. I think the ability to get the go again without boosting is really important to Tyler. I talked with him, and he has a lot of items in his deck, so I think he can't risk getting an all-item at hand and not being able to play something out with go again.
3 Tome of Findle in the list here for Tyler, so...
It's one of the best cards for going wide.
Yep. Chris, of course, is going to have his hands over the balance of justice, should that happen.
Yeah.
Mad Lad Mike is throwing it down, saying, Chris lost a bet. I'm making 1-2. If Chris wins, I'm taking Victor to my pro quest. Hey, not a bad choice here. We're going to pummel debilitate, excuse me. All right. The crush effect is relevant here. And the discard also will sting Tyler. Getting that -2 on his next attack. So this 0 to 60 does nothing. Oh, that's a discard, excuse me. We're not playing that yet. Backup Protocol Red in hand and a 0 to 60.
Yeah. I think Tyler wants to try to set up more items, get that sort of power on the board so he can start going over the top and taking the tempo. A bit of a setup early so that he can really press later on.
Okay, Spiker Genius here, X equals 2. We did actually see the 0 to 60 swapped with a red one to be discarded. This might be a Teklo Core? No, Teklo Pounder. Okay, baby.
Yep, and this is exactly what I was talking about. He wants to get as many Teklo Pounders out as he can so that he can push damage over the top. He knows that Victor can block very efficiently, so he needs to push more than 12 damage if he wants to hit that life total at all.
Yeah, really needs to be maybe taking some setup turns here. Now with the Teklo Pounder in play, though, needs to play to the tune of the steam counters being removed. Now the Dissolving Shield coming off the top. Symbiosis shot starting to get bigger and bigger. Looks like we have a passive turn and reordering a pitch. It's like a clash of vigor there in hand for Chris. Card and Arsenal here, so maybe another Spinal Crush might be on the menu still. Pretty good against a Pounder.
Asking the question, can you use all 5 cards? We've seen that a lot today.
Well, the Seismic Surge here. Don't know if we have a Go Again Enabler in hand. Doesn't look much like it. We have a Go Again Disabler, of course. And it's just going to be the Spinal here. Again, to some degree, Chris is still able to represent a pummel. That would be his second and final of the red.
Tyler probably thinking about maybe just blocking this all the way out and establishing another item.
If he can. I mean, he loses a steam counter to the pounder, though. Well, it comes off that, so that's...
Well, that is, what I'm saying is if he doesn't boost, that steam counter stays on.
That's right, yep.
So he can sort of preserve that by not attacking.
Gotcha.
And play a little defensively for a few
Wants
rounds.
to stack up multiple, that's right. It doesn't just get removed arbitrarily at the start of your turn. It's only sort of when you are boosting. Good point. Some armor block getting in there. 4 so far.
So rather keep the 5-card hand there because he also has the dissolving shield, so he can stop the crush effect with just armor and an item.
Feels pretty good. Plenty of room here to continue setting up. Following up with...
Oh, he's got the pummel.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's the pummel.
Oh,
Brutal.
boy.
Tyler
Not
with a
what
max
Tyler wanted to
punish
see.
here. Okay. So a whole ass hand. And no, like, monocle to sort of dig for items only off the top. Obviously, you can only do that sort of once. So, like, in theory, you want to be trying to find ways to, you know, get an item on top now, one on your turn.
You can play those at instant speed, which are not affected by the no go again clause of this crush.
Spinal Crush definitely been a key card for Chris in these last couple of games, for better or for worse. Discarding an Optical Monocle. Well, of course, Guard Well means that the Balance of Justice gets 2 -1 counters on it, so only blocks for that one instance of 2. Better than it being Blade Break, God forbid.
No go again makes this a very tricky turn to navigate.
Throttle, no boost, I'd have to assume.
Yeah, no boost is actually really smart here if he chooses that because it will preserve the counter.
Oh,
But he
boosted.
does boost it. I think he's just saying I'd rather send some damage.
Okay. That's a pretty tall attack. I mean, Throttle feels like a decent candidate to receive that +2.
Yeah, and he's putting that second high octane on the deck, so really kind of banking for this second cycle play.
Okay. As long as Tyler can keep blocking adequately here under the pressure that the Guardian will produce, we will get the second cycle intact. But, I mean, look, you've taken a fair bit of damage already. These 2 pummels, there's no more to deal with now. And an open deck list, so Tyler does know this.
8 damage coming in boosted, but no go again, thanks to the crush effect.
Chris sitting on, looks like an E-strike there. It might be a test of strength at the back of the hand. Automagus gets in. Might be, it's a Golden Sun, so you might want to power that. So get the shield block while you can, and a test of strength. So we've got 6 block right now.
Yeah, getting the second gold would be pretty great for Chris. 2 gold is always better than 1.
Yeah, I mean, if that's like a red stroke slam as well, like getting to draw up a card and potentially fuel this hand. Okay.
Blue Thunk, so he wins that, and he'll also make a Might. Probably
Pretty
the best
nice.
hit he could get.
So, yeah, absolutely. Might gold.
Trounce Light.
Pretty sweet. That +1 matters. The more of those that you can gain over the course of the match, the more of that incremental value you can squeeze out here. And you're drawing a blue, right? That's maybe what he was sort of looking for. So over to Chris now. Might token pops, and so does a Seismic Surge, which is pretty relevant here. It means you can obviously send that Golden Sun off just the one. E-Strike, name and go again.
Looking for 6 + 10, 16 damage, 4-card hand.
That's nice, man. That is real nice.
This is the kind of pressure that a Victor can put on. You'd think of a Guardian as a defensive deck, but Victor has the ability to just push so much damage.
It's
and
evasive
overpower.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, Pulse Wave Harpoon, the card that Tyler would love to use offensively here. But I do like the T-Bone kept in hand there. That is always going to get some value drawing one of these equipments that will lose durability. But yeah, that life total's really opened up here. So this is a tough matchup for Dash.io at the best of times. We are going to boost this. We want the damage. Another red T-Bone into the Banish.
Forced block from the equipment suite of Chris Iaali.
Yeah, he's wondering how I sort of block this efficiently. You don't really.
Yeah.
Unless you... Okay, the Trounce gets there. Nicely done. That is an efficient block. And, ooh, Thunderquake. Okay, first Trounce won by Chris. Second, yeah, it's good. Macho on the top beats a Boom Grenade.
Draws a card, makes it gold.
God,
Vigor,
value tag.
and a Might.
Tyler, look in his imaginary watch. Don't worry. You don't need to worry too much. But we're definitely going to be within the bounds of what our timer can handle capacity-wise. A little transaction. Another gold token. Might, Vigor. It's all the good stuff. Symbiosis shot here is going to get in for just the one instance of two.
Chris has a pretty good hand once again. The ability to go wide with a CNC at the end of that. E-strike into CNC. Thinking about it, not sure he wants to go with that line just yet.
Pretty reasonable. And especially if you can draw any cards out of your opponent on that E-strike.
Just takes the 2.
Here we go. We'll have our Vigor and Might tokens pop here. Chris, obviously, plenty of options. It's going to be the blue Macho into the pitch zone here to join that one resource.
Ah, pops the
Crack
gold.
the
Looking
gold.
for something else.
What do we have? It's a sink drawn off that. So we can, it's something to send away with the E-strike.
Maybe looking for a better arsenal target. I think with the 2 gold, he wants to just filter a little bit rather than, you know, sit on that.
Yeah, I mean, give him some options in terms of arsenal target at the very least. He probably doesn't feel great like following this up with the Titan's Fist. But again, he has such a massive life lead. Tyler hasn't got the setup here to pour pressure on really at all. He's just been forced to give his cards.
Sure. And, you know, I think Tyler really needs to get to that second cycle. He's got all his power cards at the bottom of his deck, so he needs to be able to block out, not something that Dash is known to be able to do.
No.
So hopefully he's got some kind of idea on how to get there.
E-strike being 6 makes it a more tempting target because you don't lose value on 2-3 blocks as you would if you were blocking at 5. But yeah, here's that CNC.
And you know what? Chris was going for the gold because that's the way to use his resources efficiently. Says, if I get a blue, I can pay more, and if I get the red, I'll just arsenal it.
That does get Arsenal. Another Command and Conquer, another E-strike in hand here. Question is, should have just off the one blue, can kind of feel that hand. Boom grenade, and that's it.
Yeah. And you see another E-strike in Chris's hand, just putting on the pressure. Everything is lining. Oh, he decides to pitch it.
Yep.
Oh, an all red hand.
All
He didn't have a
reds.
follow-up. Okay. CNC, a little less pressure. He's representing the pummel.
Yeah,
He doesn't have it.
I think it's just a test of strength in hand there. I mean, at this point, Tyler's like, mate, you got it. Like, we're gonna move on with our lives here. 36 plays 10, only shy of 13 minutes into the game. Jeez, a lot of reds here. But test of strength is good. Lines up relatively well here. But again, you've got to... Well, it doesn't line up nearly as well anymore now, of course, that you need to sort of perfect block this. It's got to
Red zipper hit coming in for 7,
7.
thanks to the Teklo Pounder, which was just put into the graveyard.
representing obviously the boom grenade damage on a break point. That's nice, but you do obviously have a 4 block in your hand. And
Yeah, this should be a pretty easy block for Chris.
maybe you just send a gentleman's CNC after that.
Maybe you draw something better.
Yeah, maybe exactly. Off the gold, you can create even more possibilities. 7 block. Not sure what the deliberation is here. Maybe just deciding. I think we got 2 clash cards.
Oh yeah, deciding the order.
So
Goes
first,
for the
of
Vigor
Vigor.
first, followed by the Clash of Strength.
this guy's free stuff.
The value on those
This is
clashes.
this is just tax breaks for the rich playing themselves out here. And then we have our. Or did we opt not to? Oh, sorry. We
Yeah,
resolved
go
both
again,
clashes,
so he's
excuse
just
me. We resolved
shooting
both
the gun,
clashes, yeah, that's fine.
Just a casual 2. Chris thinking about whether he can use all these cards or may as well throw one in front.
He's got Macho there. Looks like a Debilitate and a CNC. What's that unknown card in his arsenal? I don't think we know yet what that is.
Could be a D-react, but it's been a minute since I
send
saw
a sink
it.
away with an
I
E-strike.
think,
so-
I think he drew a second sink that hand,
Gotcha.
but testing my memory here.
Okay. Making a seismic with the Vigor. And keep paying that extra resource forward for a turn that it might be more useful. CNC. Yeah. Them's the breaks, Tyler. I mean, again, your opponent is not representing pummel on this, so he did use the Vigor token to make a surge. So that's interesting. I mean, Chris could have opted sort of not to do that and tried to represent a pummel, but that would obviously sort of leave a resource going to waste if he doesn't have it.
Yeah, just going for the efficient play. He tried that once and Tyler didn't respect it. So.
Tyler's priced into just accepting his fate. Oh, no, he's got no more pummels left. Excuse me. He's already used both pummels, so
Oh, he's only running 2.
just 2
Okay.
reds. Yep.
So we know face up.
Yeah, and so does Tyler. Still, though, got some items in that hand, I think.
Yeah.
Dissolving Shield and a Pounder there. They ain't blocking. Spark of Genius. Oh, buddy. Oh, dear.
He doesn't have the... Well, he might give an equipment here.
Tome?
Ugh.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, are you going to have sack the Boom Grenade to this
That's actually a pretty
adaptive plating?
good option. That's definitely not going to get any value. So that's exactly what we see.
Okay.
Adaptive plating, galvanizing. Oh. Blocking.
Okay, no.
He gives up the tome instead of the attack react. So, or the attack action. So
Okay.
giving up the last block on that chess piece.
Sending the
Battle
boom-
worn, so he can still use it.
Okay. Bye-bye Boom Grenade here. Maybe even just like cleanly deploy the Pounder? No. Into pitch with that. High Octane.
First high octane of the game.
Can we be boosting here? No monocle to make sure there's no bricks on top, but I don't think we have too many of those outside of
Did he draw-
tomes.
Was that a tome?
It's a tome in hand.
Okay, so that
Spark
could
of
help him go
Genius.
wider here. He's got the action points to use it
But is
as
that
long as he boosts
Is
once.
that just the Dissolving Shield as well?
If he doesn't have any boost cards, he's in trouble.
Ooh, buddy.
Mage Masters is an option.
Yeah, can you just sort of tome into some cards? See
You
if
may
get some
want to
boost?
consider arsenaling that too. With such a life deficit, it could benefit him to just play slow and gain a little life off that tome rather than spending everything on this turn.
Still, thank you, Chris. Still no action points generated here. Playing that out straight.
So he's just filling the board with items, choosing to arsenal that tome where it will have a lot more value,
Yes.
being able to gain the life.
Vastly more effective here for Tyler if he can get some life. I feel like he needs to find both modes of that tome here.
Yeah, he's really hoping that he can play a 5-card hand out. Doesn't want to see any more of these powerful crushes or CNCs. They
Or
keep,
like Zealous into attack.
yeah, I mean, he is probably happy with some vanilla damage. I mean, he would go to 1 if he blocked with nothing and used the Dissolving Shield, but he needs to get the tempo if he wants to do anything to claw this game back.
Yeah, I mean, and we've just sort of sent a high octane here. Okay, that's pretty good. This means obviously you can still have a functional turn while blocking someone heavily. Having 4 resources, I don't know if you particularly need that.
Yeah, I mean, if he happened to get an all-red hand of all boost cards, that would be the absolute nuts here.
But again, it would be a turn with that high octane active, so
True.
couldn't sort of turn that around with the symbiosis shot.
But he did just shuffle, so maybe he draws into it.
All right. Dash.io is not winning this. I mean, it's definitely a compromising position for Tyler Horspool to be in. Let's not beat around the bush. It was a pretty big chunk of damage Tyler's taken. Chris says, right, how do I most force Tyler to divest himself of these precious cards in his hand? Remember, every T-bone here is very annoying. It gets value almost every single time. And Chris does not want his civics to be sucked into a T-bone because that means, you could do a bunch of stuff like get a free symbiosis shot, like free 2 damage there. That makes the civics sort of, not do anything. You block 2 to take 2 damage essentially. Macho Grande.
Is that a blue? Yeah,
It is
so
a blue.
just 8 dominate. This is exactly what Tyler wanted to see. A vanilla 8 damage. Just throws 3 block in front of it. Absorbs 2 more with the Dissolving Shield.
Okay.
Goes down to I can't do math anymore.
Oh, would you rather 3? No, wait, he takes 3.
Wow.
Goodness me. Okay, 8 damage, he's blocking 5 of it. That means he takes 3.
Wow. Yeah. Long day.
Good heavens. He took 3, guys. It's all good. Never a doubt. But again, so, yeah, giving up a card there, we're getting 4 free resources now off those 2 Techlo cores. Yeah, look at the hat. Does the hat not evoke feelings of faith?
Feelings of fear.
Yeah, or, I'm not going to say that. I've already, no, I'm not going to say that. You look good, Tyler. That's all I'll say. You look good, buddy. Keep it up. Keep me updated with Pixie progress.
Yeah, playing the red protocol here, this is going to allow him to pick any attack action from his graveyard, add it to his hand, which is...
For free? In this economy? Well, virtually, right? Of course.
Yeah, 2 resources, but man, he had a pool of 4 just to start the turn. So great use of resources there. Getting the hand sculpted the way that he wants it.
There are so many resource sinks, that you have when all these items start to get on the board, and things to power them as well. It's like the Factorio of Fab decks. No? Bueller? Great game. If you love like automation and building gigantic factories with conveyor belts that do things while you watch them do things.
I thought you were talking about the exclamation
Oh,
at the end of a
no,
math
okay,
equation.
fellow math head.
I was like, I don't get that joke, but
You got. Do you have a math background?
I know some math things. I haven't studied it into a collegiate
So that
level.
brings me back to the engineering days.
Yeah.
To learn that nonsense.
Surprise factorial.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like a great wrestling move. You know what I mean? All right. Okay, we're thinking about, well, some armor here. So here's the balance and a trounce. Man, Chris just, getting to continue to fill up his hand here from winning these. Let's see.
Ooh, loses the high octane. He could have drawn that with the.
He was looking for that at this point. Okay, blue disable wins against red throttle. So we get all the good stuff once more. Chris like, man, am I starting to come around to this deck? This is kind of nice. I'm going to win an AGE. Just doing this. Getting free stuff. Oh, that's fine. I got a golden sun in hand. My opponent's a 7. Sweet. I'm getting that out off one pitch card.
Here comes the Mage Master boots.
Here's the Tome play.
Healing up after drawing.
We are going to do just that. So get that card. Thank you. I'll take another one here and let's gain some life. Back up to 10. Pretty good. I mean, Tyler only gave 1 card on blocks here. Took a bit of damage. Bye-bye go the Mage Masters. Look at the top again, because of course there's a new card to PCAT. And Tyler still needs to find a way to start to put pressure down on Chris. Again, a lot of the damage in this dash deck can come at once as a result of those high octanes, but we just sent one to the bottom via a clash.
Yeah, that's one of the more difficult aspects of Clash against the Dash IO, bottoming the cards that they might want to see.
So, not Zero Faith, I'd bet Korean Barbecue on it. All right. I mean, I'm not taking it up on that because I would also like Korean Barbecue. I don't necessarily want to give it to someone else. What if we split it? Some bulgogi, you and me. Mark
Sounds
Lewis.
good.
You're cooking, though. You're probably younger than me, so don't worry about it. Actually, this is flesh and blood, so who knows? You're cooking, though. I don't want to burn my brisket.
Coming in
Michael's
for...
just like, what is this guy doing?
No, man. End of the day, I am foggy-brained right now. I couldn't even do 8 minus
No,
3, 5.
I struggled. I struggled, yeah. I have an engineering degree and I struggled, so...
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm actively doing engineering work, and I
Oh.
struggled, so...
Yeah, you're actually an engineer.
Yeah, that's what I do. On the side, of course. It's my side gig.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Main gig here, casting Flesh and Blood.
Engineer is a side gig.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, so we're going to give the Gauntlets of Iron Will here to this throttle attack. Chris just wants to preserve some life. And a sink to follow it up. So we are going to cover it. Why not? Make use of these cards, especially, because he's just got so many of them, and this Golden Sun comes awful cheap.
Getting that efficient block in.
Yeah. Something you still got to
Drawn
think
to a
of.
test of strength there.
I think so. Yeah, like even with the lead Chris has, like you still don't want to be slouching here on your value trade. So another fuel injector, we'll take that. Nothing. Shake of the head, bit of a chuckle. What do you got there, Tyler? I'll tell you what, if you look at those two cards in sequence again, they might change.
Always checking, always doing the math. I have to imagine if we're gassed, these players must be on their last rope.
Oh, absolutely. God, I play 3 rounds at a ProQuest, I'm done so. I get to the 4th round at an Odyssey Armory, and I'm like, ugh. Here's an underloop.
And we've got the perfect block in hand.
Oh, we do. Yeah. Test his strength. Chris is like, I'm sorry.
So he's already won 1 clash this turn, so he won't get to draw off of that.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
make an extra gold, get an even block, or don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably feels like the value that he's looking for isn't quite there.
Oh,
So
cashes in the balance here, draws
right.
another card.
that makes sense.
5-card hand. Tyler Horspool's in a world of trouble.
He's like, I'm trying to do a little zealous into Golden Sun here. You know what I mean? Like, give some more of that action.
And he wins that clash. Blue zipper hit.
Yep.
2 against 4 on the
Action
clash.
figure looks
figure.
good. All right. Keep the good times coming, he says.
Makes a gold, does not draw it. Due to Victor's hero ability activating only once per turn.
Okay, balance. Off we go with that, because Chris has drawn every card in his deck. All right.
Boosting away a Med-X. 1 for 4.
All right, here comes a Symbiosis shot. Don't have many action points to pair with this, so just a little bit of damage. Chris says, oh, I'll just give you my armor, mate. Or he just takes it, rather. Okay, so we know this turn is going to be pretty devastating from our Victor player. Chris has been able to draw a bunch of extra cards.
I didn't see if he had go again. Oh, he has Rouse the
Yeah.
Ancients into a Golden Sun. This is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I mean, but at one point he had 6 cards, right? So
He's
you better hope he makes something pretty.
Oh, he pitches it. Maybe he didn't have the resources to play it all.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, with the red macho in hand here, this also feels just fine. You can pocket that Golden Sun for a rainy day.
Oh, sure. 11 dominate, nothing to scoff at.
And completely just befuddled meteorologists everywhere. It's a sideways look. Yeah, I saw that. Don't worry. It's like, what are you talking about? You know, rainy day, but it's a golden sun. Sun's coming out.
Oh, no, I followed
Oh,
that.
you got that? Nice, nice. All right, sweet.
Yeah.
I feel like we've only gotten closer after this long day. You know,
Yeah.
now you're following my meandering trails. All right, down to 2, Tyler. And yeah, I mean, that golden sun is probably going to secure it here. What is this die? What am I doing with this dice? What am I doing with my cards?
2 life, 4 cards, 1 in arsenal, 3 in hand. Dash IO ability.
Got underloop there. Maybe a boom grenade by it. Backup protocol red comes out. Again, we got them extra resources from the last hurrah of the Tekla cause. So got to trade that in for another card off the top. Now, it doesn't count as drawing a card, right?
No,
the
it does
balance
not
of
count
justice
as drawing a
structures, right?
card, correct? It's
Yeah.
simply playing off the top of the deck.
Here's the Symbiosis shot. There is a boom grenade in hand. Yep. Chris says, oh, you know, twist my arm. I'll take it. I'll go to 30.
Yep. The Kano player.
Okay. Get that boom grenade deployed here. Get back that counter on the Symbiosis shot. Action point for you because you cranked
Cranks
it.
Really trying to get something to connect here.
Victor has, okay. Just looking at that hand. Looks like a clash.
Oh, there's the high octane.
Okay. Now you have
Drawing.
my attention. The backup protocol can sort of recycle a boost card.
Yeah, I don't see if he has a blue in hand, which would be important to fuel
And I don't
that
think it's
kind of
like
turn.
red 0 to 60 and stuff like that, because he obviously wants to try and do this as cost efficiently as possible to get as many action points as he can. Under loop will start us off.
Little
That's a
break
booster.
point.
Hey, okay, T-Bone. Yeah, again, presenting the break points here on a turn that could go quite wide presents a bit of a conundrum. Can you get the boom grenade activation off a weapon attack? Or
You
is it only
cannot.
attack action?
Yep, only attack action cards. Thankfully, I think for every opponent of the dash,
Yeah,
that would be absolutely brutal. Sending 6 pistols and any of them could blow up the boom grenade.
Ah, Trounce is pretty good. Oh, yep, we win that one for sure. Red debilitate. And
Oh,
ooh,
a
rouse.
0. He loses that
Oh,
the first whiff
okay.
on the trounce.
ah, look, the guy's he's already gotten so much value off the. Oh, he's got. Oh, okay.
Oh,
that's
he's
fine,
just
that's nice back.
redrive. Yeah, Victor doing Victor things, and he wins it.
Love that. Okay, we're full recovered. Judges didn't see it. We stuck the landing. We're gonna get our vigor. Gonna get our might tokens. Gonna get a goal. Gonna draw a card.
And we
Gonna
know
do the
what's in
hokey
his
pokey.
arsenal here. This is looking very bad for Tyler
Oh,
in
yeah.
this spot.
Absolutely. Again, still being able to deploy Golden Sun very efficiently.
Is there a 1 card 30 that he can present?
Let me think. I don't think so.
Not even
Maybe in
Kano
part-
can
maybe
do
in
that.
part the misfail. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in part the misfail. We'll have to see. Oh, 2 cards.
Yeah, it's called try turning it on and off again. And it's
Uh-huh.
basically the fix it for Dash.io to just get you out of any sort of trouble.
Protocol popping.
All right, what are we looking
Looking for something, anything.
Got to be a 0 to 60 red, right? I don't know if he even has one in the graveyard. Maybe like a red T-bone is fine here, right?
Yeah, it's an option.
But it's
I
not a
would
break point.
prefer the 0 to 60 if he has it. There it is.
Okay, oh, that's right. Yeah, he actually discarded that to a pummel earlier in the game. Cool. All right, we have a break point here. Boosting our backup protocol red as well. Chris still having to respect this and, yeah, give some more equipment. It's like, don't be another trounce. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. How many times did we boost here? Couple. But I think X is
2.
So we're
So
probably not
showing
getting any
off
of these cards.
his 2-3 blocks that he'll very likely use. Unless he just says, I don't care about the boom grenade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris
Doesn't care at all.
and
Goes to 22.
Yeah, I think Chris also made use of those action points there to empty
Yeah.
out that.
And you got to think
shot.
that this is the game right here. I mean, there's nothing.
There
Yeah,
it
he
is.
doesn't
The
even look
fist
at his
gets
hand. Nothing he can
extended.
draw.
So how about that? Chris Iaali loses a bet to play Victor Goldmain in the AGE April Open and goes on and wins it. Just goes through and wins the whole damn thing. Absolute scenes here.
Mad lad.
Guy can barely believe it himself. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Congratulations to Chris Iaali, who honestly hasn't had huge placings at AGE sort of in recent time. Again, a little bit of a Bolton dabble, a little bit of a Viserai here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's been dabbling, trying a lot of different heroes out, kind of trying to figure out what deck is calling his name, which one is going to kind of pull him through the victory. And I think the victory is clear. Victor Goldmain. Are we seeing a new main, a new Guardian main?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the gentleman in the chat. I mean, Mad Lad Mike has to play Victory as PQ now, so that's happening. So I'd love to see that. Love to see a new, Victor Goldmain player being born. Are we honestly going to drag him in for an interview? That poor soul. You're doing it because you got an hour
All
break,
right,
mate.
sounds good. Sounds good.
We're going to be back on the other side of this with our interview with victorious Chris Iaali on Victor Goldmain. First-time Guardian. I mean, not a first-time winner in our hearts, that's for sure. Definitely been a fixture in SoCal and also on the world stage on multiple occasions. We're going to get him in for a quick chat after this. Don't go too far.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final fumes of the night. We've got Chris Iaali here, winning the AGE Open.
Yeah.
First of all, I've got a couple things to give you. We've got the AGE Champion 2024 medal. Congratulations. You can put that on now if you'd like, or, maybe it gets tangled up with the headset. And we also have a cold foil Arcane Lantern, not gold foil. That's going to be reserved for one of the last AGEs, but we do have that in the prize pool for future events. So tell me a little. Oh, of course. Anthony, come. We actually have the winner of the bet, but not of the event, Anthony Pham, here to. Was this a personal best for you? Of course, of course. Can we get the graphic up too? We could overlay that.
Congratulations.
Look at that. The Victor Duck squared.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
No way, right, guys? No way.
Appreciate it. Yeah, helping me out.
So, tell me, Chris, tell me about this deck list that you brought out of nowhere. Your first time playing Victor on in any event. How'd you come up with a list? One thing I noticed actually specifically that I wanted to ask about was a lack of Terra Sunder.
Yeah, it was mostly for trying to maximize the ability to win clashes.
Yep.
Clashes, and yeah, I ended up using that slot for sideboard space. I can hold the lines and extra equipment. Mostly the list is just based off of Dennis Sang's calling top 8
Okay.
list, and I kind of like mixed a couple of the tech I saw that the blue pitch was playing too, and added some extra brute hate because I thought there would be a lot of brutes today. But
Yeah. Well, I think the question that is on everyone's mind is, are you a Victor main now?
remains to be seen, I guess.
Sure.
But I mean, it was a little more fun than I was expecting it.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Victor hype. I'm a
Winning-
Victor main.
Winning is fun, I guess.
It sure is. I can't do it even when I bring Victor. But when you've got a great mind like Chris's, he can pilot any deck to the top. Except maybe, was it Bolton?
Except for Bolton, yeah, I can't win with that deck somehow. Yeah, I do want to shout out all my opponents in the top 8. Obviously, Anthony with the inspiration, and yeah, I think I put it on the player profile. My favorite player on the tour. He does a lot for the scene. And then Alan was very generous, and even though I felt like I missed a Spinal Crush trigger, he felt like he shouldn't have won the game if it was played correctly.
Yeah. We love
Yeah.
to see good sportsmanship in a game like Flesh and Blood. It's competitive, but we still have competitive integrity. And a choice like that, I think I respect a lot. And it makes a lot of sense when you sort of don't feel like you fairly won the game to concede it there.
Everyone in this community is great, and then of course, like, shout out to Tyler. He's been putting a lot of work in his own -io list,
Yeah.
and I feel like his results have been better than anyone with the deck. So
Yeah, the -io in the top 8 is once again a surprise. Constantly being surprised by these off-meta picks making it all the way.
yeah, I love that hero. I worked on -io a lot. I worked on -io a lot, and going into Worlds last year before Thomas Dowling did well with it in the calling. But one of the decks I was struggling against the most was Guardian. Like, at that time it was Bravo, but I do think Guardian's just a hard matchup. in general.
Okay, this is okay. Thank you for the. I'm looking at some quotes here, Anthony Pham. Would you like to read these? I can do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
You've spent a lot of brain power.
I
So
don't know if we could say some of that stuff on the air. I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, let me see. Let me pick one. Let me cherry pick one of these. Yeah, this one has no curse words in it.
Okay.
Never beating my hero choice again.
Never betting with hero choice.
I can't read either. Math, reading. I could never read, though. That was never my strong. So never betting my hero choice again. Good.
Yeah.
My 3 for your duck race would be Bolton, Viserai, and Max.
Right. Anthony wanted to know, like, if he lost the bet, what 3 heroes would he choose for the duck race? And yeah, I would have chose Viserai, which was one of my considerations. Max, because I think it's better than -IE, and then and then Bolton just because he always gave me a lot of crap for wanting to play that deck.
And I have at least 3 quotes talking about how bad Guardian sucks, Bravo specifically. But yeah, not a lot of hype going into this for the Victor.
It was a little memeing, but like, yeah, my results were struggling. I was trying new things though, and like testing things out, and in the end, I ended up just going to a list much closer to Dennis's and blue pitches, and
Yeah,
worked out.
seemed to work out very well for you. First place, cold foil,
Yeah,
and that
sick.
beautiful, beautiful medallion you're
Wow,
wearing.
my first one actually.
Wow.
I didn't get any last year.
Amazing. Is there anything else we need to cover? All right, we'll take a break and then close out.
Awesome. Thank
Be
you.
right back.
Oh, I don't believe in timers. Don't
No
worry
way.
about those. Yeah. No, we don't need those. Welcome back, everybody, to our little capstone here on our AG April Open. It's been a great time. I've had a blast. Obviously, Mike, it's been good to have you in the booth, man.
Yeah.
We've seen some pretty incredible games over the course of the day. Let us remind everybody, like, what was sort of, up for grabs here. $1,000 each April Open here. Chris Iaali, of course, walking away from that. We're going to Dave's Hot Chicken, baby. That's what I'm seeing. 30 AGE Open points. That's going to catapult Chris into our top standings here. Put him in contention for the Players' Championship with a lot on the line. And, of course, PTI. That's right. We have our May Open coming up on the 11th here. That's going to be Classic Constructed. And then, of course, in June, towards the end of the month, we're going to have our Part the Miss Fail draft. So
That's what
gonna
I'm really looking forward to. This set looks so exciting. I think the hype around it has been high, and I've got high expectations, but every card I've seen so far has got me excited
Yeah.
for what kinds of things we're going to see.
Me
All
too.
blue
All
set?
these feet for free, like that's great. A lot of feet on
Yeah.
these cards. Loving that. Let's talk a little bit about if I can find the button. That's right. We're going to have Battle Hardened San Diego coming up August 24 to 25, obviously in partnership with Arcane Games and Events. It's going to be great. The production's going to be pretty crisp. A lot of the same sort of stuff you saw at the Pro Tour, maybe with a couple of familiar faces from that event as well. We'll sort of see how that comes out. But tickets are available April 15th. So put that on your calendars and make sure you can get involved. We had Battle Hardened LA last year, and it was an absolute hoot. So not something you want to miss. Let's quickly have a fond look back over our top 8 here and how we got, of course. Chris Iaali winning it out here. We've said the story multiple times. He lost a bet, played Victor, won the whole thing. And he got through some pretty insane matchups, right? The dash game, that's a tough one for Victor to win.
Very difficult. And against the winner of the bet, ends up losing to the deck he chose. So very interesting storyline there.
100%. And then we have this I called it a slobber knocker. It was quite a game between Alan, Hoang, and Chris Iaali. That was, of course, Lubers rising up against Chris, swinging hammer. And Chris ended up coming out on top there. Another really close game. Chris, obviously, Alan ended up offering concession there just because there's illegal game action taken. And sort of, he had the game, but sort of didn't feel right advancing there through the bracket. So that's great sportsmanship. Meanwhile, Tyler Horspool advances against Fuzzy Delp in what ended up being quite a close game.
It was very close, yeah. Coming down to the wire, coming down to the last 4 cards in his deck, barely able to find lethal. Otherwise, he would have been fatigued by a Katsu, believe it or not.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's doable. Flick Flack is a pretty powerful card. You keep locking out that dash IO. Anyone can fatigue her, I suppose, if it lines
I
up
don't think he
properly.
was bringing any D-reacts into that
Oh,
matchup.
okay.
I think it just was the way that it played out.
All right.
Surprisingly, he was able to get there with 2 blocks.
You love to see it. Of course, big shout out to all of you who've joined us here over the 2 streams for the course of the day. Those in chat, it's been great interacting with you guys, having a bit of fun. Hope you don't mind a bit of the banter back and forth. It's been great to be here with you. Once again, I want to remind you guys, our May Open, May 11th, 2024. Sign-ups will be going 1 to 2 weeks beforehand, so get in our AGE Discord, and you'll be able to see the announcements there to sign up for it if you're local. It's well worth coming by. Make no mistake. Been great to have you with us here again once more. Michael, great to have you in the booth. We will
awesome.
see you guys next month. Until then, enjoy yourselves. Take care. See you soon.